I also have sound effects.
Yeah, but do you know them?
I do. This one's air horn. You guys won't be able to hear that, but they will. All right, guys. Hopefully we're live. I guess let us know in the chat.
We're live for stream info.
Yeah, we're on.
It's live.
It is. There's 60. We got 68 people. It says.
That's how many likes we got. What is it? 0 eyeballs.
That means we're not live.
Hey, you got to start entertaining these people.
I know.
Yeah, I'm refreshing, and it says we got nothing here.
Oh, really?
Oh, I see us. We're live. It's
No,
on.
we're live.
What is it? The main stream? Is it the right one? Yeah. Cool. Okay, we are live.
It's confirmed.
All right, somebody in the live chat, let us know what's up.
Oh no, yeah, I see it.
I think we're live.
First time any of us have done a live
Yeah,
stream.
we're very
To be fair,
professional.
it is the first time in like 4 years.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. At one time, I was a pro at this.
All right, awesome.
We are live.
Okay, and my volume was all the way up. So I spilled water all over our mixer right as we were about to start. So that's why we're a couple minutes late. But anyway, welcome to the stream, guys. I'm Johnny Brook from Crafted Workshop. I assume if you're watching this, you already know that. But I got some of my other Western North Carolina-based YouTuber buddies here. Seth, Berm Park, Berm Peak, all the Berms.
All the burns.
Eric, Perkins Builder Brothers, and Alex from The Sampler. No longer single track, formerly single track.
I haven't changed the channel name.
Okay,
yet.
nice. Just your
Just
shirts.
changed all the brand.
Everybody's like, I can't find
Super
that guy
cohesive.
anymore.
Yeah.
But anyway, in case you guys haven't seen on the news or whatever, this whole region was massively impacted by Hurricane Helene, which rolled through about, I guess, 2 weeks ago now. And
That's crazy. It's been 2 weeks.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Doesn't
So
feel like that.
we wanted to do something, kind of with our platform to help out the region. Obviously, there's tons of support from tons of people, but we figured, we could add a little bit more to that. So we have a fundraiser going through YouTube for Beloved Asheville, which is a great local organization that's doing a ton of work during this time. So if you donate through the YouTube donate button, which is like in the chat and below, I see somebody just donated. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
That'll go to Beloved. YouTube doesn't take any cut, any fee, anything like that. We get none of this. And then I also have some links in the video description to other places like Mana Food Bank and Asheville Humane Society and North Carolina Disaster Relief Fund that you can donate, separate outside of YouTube. So that's what's that. So I guess if you guys have any questions for us, let us know in the live chat. But otherwise, I think we're going to start by just talking through what the heck this was like, because North Carolina doesn't get a lot of, or at least Western North Carolina does not get a lot of natural disasters. So
to preface this, I wanted to say something. I talked to someone from Mobile, Alabama, not even that far away, and he said, I had no idea what had happened. He's here. He said, I didn't understand. Had no idea. So
Yeah, both of my sisters just found out that this happened.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
California,
pretty much.
New York.
Yeah, I mean, well, people in New York don't know anything happens outside
Of New York City.
but-
They don't think the world
Yeah.
exists. But my point is all of the donations that you guys contribute today, everything is very, very much needed. And also just continuing to talk about what is going on in Western North Carolina, not just Asheville. It's all of Western North Carolina.
yeah.
Very important. So anything that we can do to spread the word, we're here for. And I guess today we're going to talk about like our experiences with the storm, because we were all here when it happened.
Not me.
No one. Oh yeah, you were not here.
I
but
was not here.
That's an
So that's
especially
another
interesting
story.
Why don't we start with Johnny?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
started having a conversation. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, are you even coming
Seth
home?
was the one person. So this happened 2 weeks ago now, which just happened to be the same week as my older son's fall break from school. So we had our big Disney World trip planned. First time the family had ever been to Disney World together. And, when you're at Disney World, especially with two young children, you tend to be oblivious to everything going on outside of Disney World. It's like all I can do to figure out what ride we're going to, where we're going to eat, like.
He had put months and
Dude.
months of planning into this too, because Johnny was just as excited as his sons.
Yes.
I
One
assure
of my
you.
sons was puking. Like it was a whole thing. So I was completely oblivious. And so I'm laying in bed in the hotel room Friday night on Reddit, because I'm obsessed with Reddit. And on the Asheville subreddit, I'm like seeing all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, man, this looks pretty serious, because we had, kind of heard some weather event was coming, but, we had gotten rain in Florida, but little did I know what was happening in Asheville. So Then I go look at my phone and I realize I have gotten no responses from any of the texts or calls that I've sent out to any of the Asheville people that day, with the exception of Seth, because Seth has Starlink and a Ford Lightning like me. So
good job.
We were able to
Seth's
actually communicate, and it was crazy. Like, my parents live here, my wife's parents live here. We've obviously got tons of friends here, and it was complete radio silence. So it was weird being on the outside looking in and not being able to do anything.
Well, that was one of the weirdest things being here, was that I knew so much less about what was going on than anyone else in the country.
Yeah.
And we were here.
We didn't know much at all.
No cell service, no internet, no power, no TV, nothing.
And to give some context to people who are just not familiar with Asheville, it's a temperate rainforest climate. And so when we get a weather report that says, you're getting 1,000 inches of rain, we're just like,
not
whatever.
again.
Yeah,
right.
And so that's what it all sounded like to all of us. They're like, you're getting just a whole bunch of rain. Yeah, we already got a whole bunch of rain. There's going to be flooding. Yeah. And that's pretty much how everybody handled it.
It is, because we get a lot of rain all the time. They said like 15 to 18 inches. It's like,
Well, then some areas got like 30 inches.
Yeah, but a lot of it was the like 15 inches the 2 weeks prior.
A lot of it was the other 1,000 feet of elevation above you, and all the
funneling
water
it all,
funneling all down from there, and that's really what turned it into the catastrophe that it was.
Yep.
Yeah. So those first few days were crazy. I mean, I think what's funny is the timing of this new iPhone release was actually pretty good, because it also got the whole SOS satellite mode. So I was actually able to occasionally get texts through to my parents.
Such a great idea.
Just using that. And, like, satellite texting through other services like Garmin and stuff is incredibly expensive.
Wait a second. I could have been using that.
Dude. Yeah, you gotta go stand out in your yard.
Like only for emergency.
Well, if you have SOS, you can use it. It was an emergency.
Yeah, you're right.
Don't be sending emojis and
you're
memes.
Right. You're right. Interesting.
That was an emergency.
Yeah, I got it, or I always think, for if I'm out mountain biking and something happens. That's why I upgraded, to make sure I have that.
Yeah.
I ride alone a lot.
Yeah, so that feature was pretty clutch. I was able to actually talk to my parents, and so I guess, what was y'all's experience like here? I guess they said, Seth, talk a little bit closer. I guess let's start with Alex. Go around the table.
Let's start with Alex
okay.
want to start. Look at him.
Go ahead,
All
Seth.
right. So, I was actually in Crested Butte. So I was out in Colorado.
Yeah, I wasn't sure you were going to be able to get back.
We started hearing about it when we were at the airport. Like, we heard whispers of it the night before, and then we got to the airport early in the morning, and Dan's like, we're getting a lot of rain. I'm like, yeah. He's like a lot of rain, like we're probably gonna have to deal with stuff when we get home. And I'm like, oh crap. And I start looking, and I'm like, 15 inches. I'm kind of a nerd, and I know what 15 inches mean. A lot of people, they don't.
So do I.
They're like 2 inches, 15 inches. I don't know. But when it comes to rain, that's like, what does Tucson get in a year? 12 inches of rain,
Total,
7
maybe.
inches of rain. Like,
I have no idea.
Like, we're talking about what some cities get an entire year.
Yeah.
We were going to get in under 24 hours after the ground was already saturated, because the rivers were already at the breaking point. And so I'm like, okay, this is actually going to be bad. So I called up my wife and I said, hey, stock up. Like, just stock up on as much stuff as you can. This is going to be bad. She's like, yeah. Like, could we go? Like, no, go now. So she did. I get home, and this is the day before the storm, and I'm like, I have all these drains around the house that have not been fixed. Like one of them, like, those plastic corrugated drains that come off your gutter and then they go into the ground? Like, I guess somebody got overzealous with a string trimmer, and so the thing is just completely filled with dirt at the top, and like this other one got completely disconnected, and I'm like, ah. So I just started frantically fixing drains. Then I just started frantically searching for every extension cord I could so that I could run them into the house. So the Ford Lightning's got a 30 amp 240 in the back, but you can't plug it into a generator transfer switch. Now we're getting really into the weeds. You can't plug it into a generator transfer switch unless if you have bonded neutrals. So you need a special transfer switch, which I have on order now, to connect it. So I have to run. So I had my generator connected to that just to run the well pump, and then I ran extension cords into the house to run the refrigerators, to run the Starlink, because I knew we're going to lose power. There's no way we're not going to lose power for multiple days.
Yeah.
And then the storm came and we woke up with no power. We woke up with no cell phone reception. And we woke up with basically no connection to the outside world until I fired up Starlink. And I was surprised it didn't get ripped off my roof, honestly, because I'm the one who installed it. And I'm not known for, like, you know.
At least you're self-aware.
But at the time, we had no idea how sad it was, like how bad it was outside. We just figured everybody lost power and everybody lost trees. And in hindsight, it's all in 2020, but it wasn't at the time.
Yeah.
And so we started venturing out looking for gas because we did, like, the first thing you do after something like this is, while it's fresh in your mind, make a list of all the things you wish you got. And at the top of my list, cash, because nobody was accepting credit card. Make sure you have some freaking cash, and not like $50, like cash.
Everything.
Yeah, like real cash.
Gas canisters.
And get gas, because it's going to be the night before, you fill up as many gas cans as you want. The day after, you're in line across the road if the gas station's even open.
Yeah.
And the rest is history. I mean, the rest is in my videos. But as time has gone on, we've just realized how bad this has been for so many people. And I mean, I don't know if I'm the most empathetic person, but in this situation, you see it so up close, it'll turn you into an empathetic person. Just the amount that people have lost and the amount that they have to adapt to has really hit home. And I don't feel like I can go back to normal life until everybody else is back to normal, because it's in your face every single day. So, I guess you kind of got home after the storm.
Yeah, so we were trying to get home, and you know, at first we were trying to rush home because we were like, oh, we can help out or whatever. But then the flights kept getting canceled. The Asheville airport was closed for multiple days because they had no power, no water, no internet. So obviously those are pretty important things for airplanes coming in. And so we were going to fly home, I guess it was last Saturday, something like that. And like a week and a half ago, and you had called me because I think you got your Starlink working, and you were basically like, don't come home because there's not much to come home to right now. Yeah. Because, we have young kids, and water and power are exponentially more important, I think, when you have little kids, because, they're you got to take care of them. They are more sensitive, I think. Yeah, I know. Just throw them outside. So we decided to just keep riding it out down there for another week or so. Yep. And so we've been home for, I guess, since last weekend. And yeah, it's insane. I mean, Asheville, as I mentioned earlier, we don't really get hit with a lot of natural disasters. And so we were not really prepared for this kind of thing. And then also, unfortunately, a lot of the places that people come to Asheville for, like Biltmore Village and the River Arts District, as the name implies, River Arts District's on the river. And so when we got all of this water, both of those areas they got an insane amount of flooding. And so, it's sad because who knows what the Asheville, kind of tourism scene is going to look like, for the rest of this year and for years to come, So,
I mean, it's not going to be the same I don't think for a decade.
Well, and, unfortunately, especially like River Arts, it's obviously a lot of artists and people like that. And, those people are not just sitting on to weather this kind of thing when you're out of a studio and all that kind of stuff. For years and years. I know there's a local woodworker that I follow, Kerr Woodworking, who lost everything, his entire shop, all the stuff he was working on, so like when this kind of stuff happens, that I think is what's super impactful for me, is all the people like us who are small business owners who, when you own your own business, it is your life obsession. If it's not, you're probably not going to do very well with it. So I was just thinking, I'm like, I can't imagine coming back and like my entire shop having been washed away, like that. I don't know where my mental space would be, but it would not be good. So, it's just unheard of that this kind of stuff happens.
One of our favorite coffee shops, Summit.
Yeah. Summit Coffee.
Completely
gone.
Whole building just gone.
Washed away.
Completely toast.
Thankfully, they've got another roastery. Like their main roastery is not here, but still location, like literally just washed away. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. How was it for you, Eric?
It was pretty good considering we're over in Waynesville. We did not get quite as much rain, and we were, I think, directly under the center of the eye of the storm. So just to the east of us, it was way worse because they're getting the wind that's going with the direction of the storm. Those heavier bands were just east of us as well. I don't know if I said east or west. East was worse.
Yes. Swannanoa, Black Mountain.
Yeah. So I was like watching the wind. I'm thinking, man, I should download some of my video stuff into my editor before I lose internet. And then right then I lost internet. And then shortly after, I noticed my cell phone didn't work. The power was going on and off. Miraculously, we did not lose power. I don't know how.
That's crazy.
Incredible.
No,
That's
never lost
wild.
power
Wow.
at my house. Now, a lot of the town did. And we heard there was trees falling in our neighborhood. Our neighbor had 4 oak trees across the house. And we could hear this happening. So we're just like waiting for one to go across all the cars. There's a bunch of oak trees in my driveway. So, and then after that, it was just radio silence. And it was so creepy. In my adult lifetime, I've never had, we don't even have an antenna for our TV. So we had no internet, no TV, no cell phone. We're just sitting up on the mountain, had no idea, honestly, how bad it was everywhere else. We could just see our neighborhood and we saw that we couldn't get out. Bunch of trees down. So about 2 days later, we cut our way out. We decided we're going to go down to the lake property and see what got destroyed down there. We have a camper under a bunch of trees and a dock in a lake that went up to the highest level ever. And so we're just we should go check that out and see if there's something we can do to repair. Not knowing at all how bad it was until we get to the top of I-40 at Black Mountain, and they said it's closed. And we're like, what do you mean it's closed? Landslide. Yeah. So I'm like,
I-40 is a major highway. Yeah. Just for those of you who aren't around this area, major, truck route.
It's severed.
Yeah, and it was just gone.
Yeah,
and not like they have to clean it up. No, they have to plan a new highway and get dynamite and blow out a new piece of mountain and make a new road.
This is where on I-40?
If you want to get to Tennessee.
Well, Tennessee is shut
that
too.
way. Okay,
it was shut in both
directions. He was talking about east.
Yeah.
Right?
East, there's a landslide, but the road is still there.
They cleared it.
So they can clear that.
Yeah,
it took about a week
to
to
Black
clear
Mountain in Swannanoa now.
Now, everybody was getting off.
You can see.
Oh, it was big.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, everyone was getting off in Black Mountain. Nobody had cell coverage. So everybody's just walking around Black Mountain like zombies. Where do we go? What do we do? We have no direction. There was just people just everywhere, no stoplights. So it was also chaos. We tried to get off of I-40, went back down 70 through Swannanoa, not knowing anything about Swannanoa. And we went to a certain point near the Ingalls distribution center where there was a house across the road with a tractor trailer on top of it.
Jesus.
And we were like, oh,
yeah,
what is going on here? And so we, of course, turned around and left. But that was when I started realizing this was way worse than I thought it was. And luckily I listened to Kiss Country, got on Kiss Country on the radio. They did a 24-hour a day calling in, giving information. That was the only information we had was that. So, and then I've also gone up to some of the harder hit areas up in Mitchell County, Spruce Pine to help chainsaw. And there's towns just gone up there. There's every other tree knocked down in areas. I'm not talking a tree or two. I'm talking 50% of trees.
Yeah.
fell.
I saw pictures from the Blue Ridge Parkway today that, I mean, basically deforestation on a massive scale.
Looked like that.
80% of trees removed in certain sections.
Yeah. With all that said, I want to make sure to get this in. America was there. There was
totally
thousands of trucks and trailers and dudes with their own personal UTVs, track hose, loads of water and food, not getting paid. Just coming in, just truck after truck after truck after truck, convoys of electrical crews just coming from every direction. It was a pretty amazing response by what I'll call America. I guess they saw it on the news and they were coming from every direction they could come with everything they could fit in their vehicle, which was awesome. They were all coming to try to help. So I've never seen that in my life because I've never been through a natural disaster. But I was like, wow, this is crazy. And due to all that help and support and people working their tails off to try and put things back together, there are some areas that are back open,
Mhm.
like west of Asheville.
Yep.
You could go to Bryson City right now and get dinner.
Yep.
You know, have a nice
Waynesville.
evening. Waynesville,
I mean, I went to
Silva.
Boojum the other night. So the east side of this storm was, I think, by far the worst side. So if you look at the map of Asheville, you know, Waynesville, Bryson City, where y'all live and work, was much better off than Swannanoa, Black Mountain. Seth used to live in Swannanoa. You know, it got hit
Obviously,
really,
Chimney
really, really
Rock
hard. Yeah,
and
Chimney
Lake
Rock's
Lore.
literally gone.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And north of town.
Yeah.
Burnsville, Barnardsville.
Yeah.
Spruce Pine.
Yeah.
They
Mars
got,
Hill.
and then we got a comment here from Justin. The I-26 going up from Asheville to Johnson City also destroyed up in Irwin. So that was the weird thing, and that was what convinced me not to come back. Was like, if I come back, you can't get out of Asheville. Like we were basically like completely severed from the world, which is really weird. You know, like really weird from a getting any sort of supplies or you know, medical or any first responders coming in. Because I mean, I've seen trucks and like I saw Louisiana State Patrol this morning and like roofers from Houston
You
and
lost,
like
buddy?
people coming in from all over to help. You know, saw the National Guard on the highway yesterday, so it's crazy.
The biggest thing, if you're a parent, there's not a trauma center within. You have to go 2 hours to get to the nearest trauma center, or maybe you could get to one in Greenville.
Yeah,
but Mission Hospital is operating on basically life support, quite literally. Like
same with Advent,
trucking in water.
Yeah, they
and
no
Mission's
power, no
the
water.
only trauma center in the region.
Yeah,
it's the only hospital that has those types, and they are injured.
Yeah, and I'm not for sure. I heard there's somebody that they were having to literally just take buckets of water to every room
to flush
for a while.
Yeah, not being on flush toilets was like a huge.
That's
issue.
not good.
It's crazy.
Just the simplest stuff.
I was there. It smelled.
Yeah,
you could smell it.
Yeah,
it was bad.
I believe it. Yeah, Dan is asking if like CB and ham radios. Yeah, I mean, Dan, I think the big issue was power. I don't have a CB. It makes me want to be a prepper now.
Yeah,
to be honest, I'm like,
Johnny,
I want to get into all this stuff because I'm like, I was completely unprepared.
He's like, I'm already like a low-level prepper, but I'm gonna take it to
be like a mid-level prepper. I'm like, let me get a well drilled
channel coming.
Yeah, I already ordered Starlink. I'm like, I'm never not gonna have one of those. And
you got the truck.
Yeah, I've got the truck with a lot of electricity. I've got a ton of batteries at the shop. They're just not hooked up to anything, so they weren't very useful. Yeah, so it's weird. It's weird not being able to get anything.
Yeah.
You know,
it makes you realize how reliant we are on technology when
Dude,
when it all goes away.
Yeah,
and you realize you're like, wait, I don't have a way to even call anybody even if I wanted to.
I remember the first time you called me, you were like, "Cell phone's finally working."
Yeah,
I
was so happy, dude. I was like so.
And then I lost the call like 20 seconds later. You were like driving down the road. One of the other.
Hey, I wanna address the chat. So first of all, thank you everybody who's been.
You guys have donated.
We've seen $100, $20, $50 donations, and somebody said, "Hey, I can't. I'm just not in a position to help." If you're watching this,
just share the link.
YouTube notices. And you're helping, especially if you share it with people. And so just the fact that you guys are here, you're getting informed about it, and you know what's going on in this region is helping. But
dude,
I mean,
there's huge ones. Sashko.
Sashko. Thank you guys so much.
Garrett. Man.
Scott Anderson, $100. Look at this. This is awesome.
People donating anonymously.
I think there's a setting when you're donating to, but so if you put your name up there, you know, then
we've raised almost $1,400 so far.
Shut up.
That's awesome.
Really, dude, you guys are killing it. Thank you guys.
20 minutes.
That's
so
huge.
I was gonna say on that note, I don't know, we probably should talk about this beforehand, but do we want to match this between the four of us, whatever we raise?
You don't know how high it's going to go.
That's a scary.
We have the money.
I think.
Let me say
all
this.
of us, we can match.
I think we can afford it. Yes. Let me just say that. I think we can do it. It's tax deductible. We can discuss after, but let's say we're going to match it. If and we'll figure it out after.
Okay.
So we'll get the details, but I think that's the least we can do.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure I'm making some AdSense money on this. I'll
Tony
donate
Bell,
that.
$50.
Yeah. Katie from Sashko. What's going on, Katie?
Oh yeah. Loves preppers.
Yeah. I mean, now I get it. You know, I don't have a gun. I don't have anything. You know, like I got like a VR headset. That wasn't very useful.
That's
during this.
tough. You wear that outside, people will love that.
Yeah. So it was crazy.
I feel like the gas cans, man.
Oh,
The
yeah.
gas thing was
Yes, you need gas.
real.
Gas
in
and
the
water.
first few days.
Yeah.
Because
Or just have an electric truck.
Well, or I mean that too, but when the first few days when you didn't even know if you could get out of town, you knew that 26 was not accessible. But then there's people starting to like talk about these crazy routes that take 3-hour detours.
Yep.
You can't do it with just one tank of gas.
No.
So if you needed to get out, you're just like, even if you could.
So
our
buddy Josh, who we ride mountain bikes with, he was telling me, so his wife was out of town. His daughters were in St. Louis. So he was trying to get to St. Louis. He had one tank of gas and that was all he could get. And he was like, I'm just going to go for it. And he did not end up finding a gas station until he had like 10 miles to empty.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like some people just had to like go for it. And some people like Josh got lucky, but man, there were also tons of cars parked on the side of the highway just stuck,
Yep.
you know, with people sleeping in them.
I was at a
So,
quarter tank and I like had to go, I had to decide whether I was going to bite the bullet and try to go wait in one of those 2-hour lines with the possibility that I'd run out of gas while waiting or that the
get
gas
shot
would
by
be
somebody
gone.
in line.
Yo, so I passed the gas station with one of those lines and then I heard a gunshot like not soon after.
I mean, because
And then
that's
I was
the other
like-
thing.
that was like the day after. And
Yeah.
I
When you
still don't
can't
know
get-
what was going on because I still haven't been online that much, but that was scary to hear.
Yeah.
There was definitely some light looting for sure.
Yeah. And so, if
but not much.
Understandably so. You
Yeah.
know, it's like if you know, so Ingles is our major grocery store chain here, and they're based in Swannanoa, at least their distribution center is. And so they got hammered. And so their whole credit card processing system was down. Most of the stores were not open. And so when your only grocery store option isn't even open, or if it is, it has like a multiple hour line and only accepts cash, which I know I don't have probably $1 here in the house. So you understand why people might have to turn to that. You know, it's it's dire
Publix
times.
opened pretty quick.
Yeah,
They had
Publix was
generators.
good.
Publix has the experience.
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
from
Florida.
Florida.
based.
Yes.
Presence in Florida.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had somebody ask, what are you all needing besides money? And that's been a common question. And I've been to a lot of different places, and the supplies like food and like food and
Water.
provisions, that type of stuff is fine. Like they're getting a lot of it,
Yep.
and the supply lines are starting to open up. Now the needs are changing. Like there's Calvary Church, there's a whole bunch of them around here. They're trying to save people's homes, and they're actually going in, shoveling the mud out and ripping out sheetrock and ripping out insulation to try and save these people's homes because a lot of them didn't have flood insurance. It would be like having snow insurance, like in Miami, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'd say most didn't.
Yeah, most didn't. And so they're just trying to save their homes. And so they were like, can you bring us some washers and dryers? Because these workers are coming back every day with their clothes completely messed up. They need N91 masks, like with the charcoal filters and everything, because a lot of the mud that came in, that's now dust, that came from sewage treatment plants, from chemical plants. And these, like Swannanoa is basically toxic right now. They're asking for PPE, gloves, boots, washers and dryers, generators that you could lend or give. Fuel for those generators.
This is a really good list. NK
Shops.
Productions. Water,
Shops for
canned
workers.
goods. Yep.
Out using chainsaws.
Blankets, wood.
Flat shovels.
Yep.
Definitely.
Generators is a big one. So the other thing, I guess I haven't even mentioned.
List actually, like a really updated list.
So Asheville proper, I think 80% of people in Asheville are still without water, including myself. I don't have water here at the house. Don't have water at the shop. Don't have internet at the shop, which is why we're streaming here. So, you know, bottled water is kind of okay to come by. But even like water storage stuff is very hard to get. Like, you know, jerry cans, anything like that. Buckets. I mean, like there's a shortage of buckets right now because everybody's buying buckets.
Buckets are definitely a big one.
For
flushing toilets.
Yeah. Stuff like that, I think.
Just being able to transport, but buckets with lids.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
It's hard to carry
even
5
harder.
gallons of water in a bucket in your car. without a lid.
Generators are
I
a
want to
real
see
one.
you fix that after this. We're gonna put one in the front seat.
Yeah, most of it will end up inside the car. So we really appreciate all you guys, your donations and asking what you can do.
it's
That's awesome.
amazing.
Also, if you look at some of these donation resources I've listed, Beloved Asheville, a few of the other ones, they'll also list some of that stuff and then where you can send it, because obviously, not send it to our house probably. So I think they have distribution centers and things like that set up. Amazingly, UPS and FedEx and USPS are running. So big props to any of those guys, because it is unbelievable that they're able to navigate the crap out there and keep running.
I got a
And the
UPS
utility
delivery.
workers.
Yes, and the utility workers. Yes,
thousands and thousands and thousands.
Yes, I mean they connected. So the main water line. The reason most of Asheville is without water is because the main water processing plant that serves 80% of Asheville, the redundant water line that they claimed would be pretty much hurricane proof, it's like 30, 40 feet underground, got washed away. So it was crazy to see that happen. And then they've been working around the clock to try to get that reconnected. And they got it reconnected at like 1 a.m. yesterday. But there's still so much more to do to get water back online. So flushing with buckets is here to stay for the foreseeable future.
This is cold weather gear. I've been hearing that.
Yeah, it was cold last night.
Cold weather gear.
Some cold snaps and
and then volunteering as well.
Volunteering is huge.
Tarps, buckets, batteries, flashlights.
A lot of the places that I have been to this week, like out with the the relief donated supplies, there's large stocks of them, but the hard thing is actually getting them physically to people and having them get organized and received. So the volunteering is a huge part, just getting sorting, more feet on the ground. Yeah, just to sort, and then also to get it to the people from these facilities, because a lot of the places that aren't doing well still are the places that are further outside of Asheville, the harder to reach, the smaller communities. And those people either don't want to come into, it could be difficult or impossible for them to get to the distribution centers, or I don't know, for whatever reason, but
they especially don't have communications. They don't even know to sometimes.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about people way out there that don't.
There are roads that aren't even on Google Maps here. There's so many dirt roads. Anybody who's done a Facebook Marketplace deal around here knows how hard it is to get certain places. And when FEMA and Red Cross come in here, this is unprecedented. They could have every resource and intention in the world to help, but they just don't know to go to certain places. And the bat signal isn't really coming out from those places because they're so isolated. And that's where the local churches are kind of doing it. I've never been inside of a church my entire life. Big out there. But they're all too willing to get mobilized and help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was impressive. Almost every church I drove by had a mountain of supplies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And someone there to load it for you.
That's the hub in most of those, a lot of those communities. When we were, shout out to my friends Randy and Juliana, they drove a whole trailer of supplies funded by just through friends from Raleigh.
Nice.
Brought it over and we took it out towards Lake Lure, and roads had just started opening up further into that, and we emptied a whole one of those trailers at a church, because the church is basically serving as the hub out there. That's kind of the community spot. Yeah.
It's amazing how much the community has come together in this time. I mean, I think it shows why Asheville's a pretty special place. The support from the community and really all around has been pretty huge. So,
and I mean, someone said something about looting, but
I
think there's been
minimal,
very little.
I think necessary looting.
In a good, I think talking about the looting is a positive. I think in most other places there would have been severe looting. Yeah, here people came together to help each other, and not trying to just worry about themselves and get themselves ahead by looting and whatnot.
But the character of the people here is unlike anything I've ever seen. At this one center, we had dropped off a whole bunch of stuff, and this grandmother was there, and she's looking for baby formula. I'm like, here, we're bringing this here. And I handed her a big thing of Similac, and she said, is this too much? Somebody else might need it.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that's where their head is at when they're in dire need. That's where their head's at, is they want everybody else to be okay. It's just unbelievable.
it gives you hope in this world, no matter
Yeah.
how much we all might disagree on politics or religion or whatever else, you can still come together as neighbors when this kind of stuff
Yep,
happens.
absolutely.
So, well, Alex, why don't you tell us about your experience?
Yeah, what was your experience
John
like?
Brooke, are you?
That's my dad. Yeah.
Oh,
your
Thanks for
dad
the
is
donation,
John
Dad.
It was
Appreciate
such a
it.
random
Dude.
amount, 171.
Yeah.
That is very, very specific.
Caught
What
my
is
eye.
what does that
Yo.
number mean?
Who knows? I'll have to ask him.
That's funny.
Yeah, this has been awesome so
He's
far.
paying-
Someone's on the ground today saying they're asking for tarps, buckets, batteries, and flashlights. Yeah, those are
Yeah,
other
tarps.
ones.
Yeah.
There was a lot of trees on roofs.
It's the
that's it, yeah.
recovery phase right now.
Yeah.
People are trying to save their houses and try and fix things.
Yes, people with trees that hit their roofs, it's pretty rough for those kind of
Yeah,
people.
I guess
Yeah.
that's probably a good segue.
But Alex, where were you? Where were you when you first heard about the storm and when everything started happening?
Well, for anyone that's from my audience that's in the chat right now, I've been keeping a pretty big secret from everyone. I was in my house, not
Air horn.
not in my. I was not in Dora, not the
We
van.
just
I'm not
knew.
calling that
Oh,
my house. I
it's
was
on
in
chat.
my physical house, and
I thought we weren't talking about that.
He changed his mind.
It's very good cause.
We pressured him.
and I'm going to be putting a video out on Sunday, so everyone will want to see the details. But yeah, I was in my house, and I woke up that morning. I couldn't sleep because it was like crazy winds. I woke up and I just stayed up, and that was for a good thing. That was a good thing that happened because my girlfriend and I were downstairs making coffee, and I heard this just massive, just like the ground shook. And I was like, okay, there goes a tree. I just finished making coffee. And then I was like, you know what? I should take a peek outside. And I went outside and there was a tree fallen on Dora. Not a big tree. That was a small tree. But then I looked around the side and it was like a huge tree. I was like, okay, I should probably go upstairs and look at my attic. And I brought a stepladder up thinking I was going to need it. And as soon as I get back into my room, into my bedroom, I could hear just water splashing and just went into like save everything mode. A tree had fallen off up high. So not at the roots, and landed like on the corner of my house and put a hole in the roof that was in the closet. If the roof hadn't held, it would have fallen straight onto my bed. So kind of crazy. And that was one of many. There was actually another tree that fell. So my whole morning was pretty hectic. And, it's funny because in the moment, I'm like, this is the worst thing ever. I'm a new homeowner, and these guys have all been telling me. Also, they all have tons of experience, and they're all handy people. Everything that goes wrong in my house, they're like, yeah, that's pretty standard. I'm like, oh my God. not another thing. What? My sewer line is busted. Oh, that's normal.
Hey guys,
I got squirrels in the attic. Oh, that's standard here.
Yeah.
It's cost me so much money right out of the gate and they're just like, yeah, that's what buying a house is. This one was the same. Like my house, my power was out, my internet was out, my water was out. I had a tree fall on my house. I am still so lucky. And in the moment, I was thinking, all I was thinking is, this is terrible. Like, I don't even know what to do next. I feel like I should leave town, but I can't leave my house. I've got a hole in the roof, and if it rains again, I'm screwed. But the second that I heard, it was weird because you didn't hear anything for so long. We're in our own little bubble, and in my neighborhood, there's lots of trees down, and there's trees that fell into homes. Mine luckily deflected off. I don't know why. But even they got lucky because there's so many people. Is the builder?
Good builder.
That's why. Even they got lucky because, in all these in downtown and out west in the north of town, there's whole houses that are just gone, like actually washed away. So honestly, with my experience, I just feel lucky. And the more I go out, the more I get out and help around town, the more I see. Like yesterday, I was out in Swannanoa helping with the World Central Kitchen, and seeing what happened in Swannanoa is just heartbreaking. I spent plenty of time there living with Seth when we were building the van, and I went by Okie-Dokie's barbecue.
It's gone.
It's not gone, but it got flooded, the whole thing.
It got flooded.
Yeah. They had a really cool setup out of Blunt's Donuts, I think it was, or Blunt's Cafe. I don't know, the community was really coming together. But yeah,
I'm
it was
sure.
it was crazy to see places. Oh, what was that? The fajita spot that was still there by the.
Are you
Oh, it's
hungry?
still there.
No, it's just like
should go get some food.
we spent so much time at these places in Swannanoa.
Yeah.
We lived in like the core
It's
of
right
Swannanoa.
where it all happened.
I might have raised kids there if I
Right.
didn't move.
Yeah.
You know, it would. I don't even know if Berm Creek is still there.
I think your neighbor. Yeah, I didn't.
So that
go,
was your
but
original
it
house.
was,
Was a
yeah.
little,
it was surreal
Yeah.
to see. It was
Yeah.
it was super surreal.
I
It's
still
just
don't
a
know if it's
dust
there.
bowl now. So, yeah, I mean, I have a video coming out on my channel all about my experience, and as I'm editing it, it just feels ridiculous now that this last week I've kind of gotten things wrapped up, taking care of at my house as much as they're gonna be until things actually get fixed, which is gonna be like months down the road, maybe years. I don't know, but getting out now and seeing it's, you know, it just puts it all into perspective. So yeah.
Yeah, you'll be okay for sure. We went over.
Oh yeah,
and
Johnny
helped. Me and my
I
dad.
also am just so thankful because I've gotten so much help, and that's kind of been the silver lining. I should definitely. I talk about this a lot in the video, but you know, I found a roofer.
Yeah.
I met a roofer in my
Crazy.
neighborhood. Like I met people in my neighborhood that I hadn't met before that just came over and offered me their services. You know, my neighbor next door knocked on my door one morning with a chainsaw. He's like, "Yo, let's do this." I was like, "Thank you." You know, that got the tree off of my car so I could get it out of there. Johnny and his dad came over, helped me get the big tree off of the back of my house that, you know, could still do more damage because it was resting on the house and it was huge. But we knocked it out in like,
It was easy.
we knocked it out
like
fast.
2 hours, not even.
And you know, I got some of the supplies for the tarping from my other neighbor, and yeah, it's been really, really amazing. That's been the one silver lining, just seeing people come together in a way that is just, I think, unprecedented.
I didn't help.
Oh,
Alex
also,
at all.
Seth just sends menacing
Also-
text messages through Starlink.
Seth was kind of a hub for me because his place was so his place was accessible to me. I don't have to like go north into town where all the roads were busted up, and Seth was huge, came through huge with water and also just service. Just the fact that he had his amazing generator plus electric truck setup let me actually let people know that I was okay, because otherwise no one had heard from me in days, and my family, you know, they were all
Yeah, your
just like,
brother
"Oh my
was
God."
texting me. He was like, "Is Alex okay?"
Yeah, and
I'm
yeah.
like,
and
well,
you weren't
I
even
don't know
there.
for sure, but
no
I'm pretty
one
sure.
was talking to anyone.
Yeah.
You know, did I
Yeah.
even?
Because I was in
I
Florida.
had found somewhere to message you from before I
Yeah.
came over, but yeah. So I was doing runs with the limited gas that I had to and from Seth's place to fill up just water jugs so that I had something to drink, and you know, I have a creek in my neighborhood, so I could just flush the toilets with that.
I have good news too. So after you filled up all those jugs, we tested my well, and it was
okay,
good.
good.
Yeah.
just light
Because
EPI.
I've drank about 21 gallons of it.
That's another thing is the testing strips.
Oh
Yeah.
You know, we didn't have those, and you order something on Amazon, it's coming in like 2 weeks now.
Oh, yeah.
So
Minimum.
we have testing strips now, and
That's a good idea.
because a lot of people around here have running water, but you can't drink it.
No,
and
it's
so,
non-potable.
Yeah, it's no good.
So my dad donated 171 to get it up to an even 2,000.
Oh,
yeah, I
good
saw
job.
that.
There,
I
that
saw
makes
that.
sense.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Dad.
Wait, what?
And Mom. Oh yeah, we're over 2,000 now, man.
All right, good job,
Holy
guys.
cow. Yo, you guys
That's
are killing
great.
it. Thank you guys. Thank you everyone that's in the chat so much. Oh
and,
my God.
And let's not
2,400.
forget Milton just
Dang.
hit in Florida, and any of you guys that are out there, I'm
Yeah.
glad it wasn't as bad as they
Yo, what's up, Tanner?
anticipated, but it's still bad. You know.
Oh yeah.
Tanner,
You
my
go.
family is all accounted for and good in Florida. Yeah, that's crazy because I'm in North Carolina in Asheville, and then a lot of my family is dead center where Milton was going to hit Tampa, St. Pete. And but yeah, thank you for asking. All my family is accounted for. We don't really know what the property damage is looking like because none of them, they all evacuated. But the most important thing is that they're safe. So yeah, thanks for asking, man.
NK Productions, I was going to say, I really appreciate that he's talking about donating if you're outside of the U.S. If you look in the video description at some of those places, the beloved Asheville is the main one we're raising money for through this fundraiser on YouTube. But I think they have shipping addresses, but I know Mana Food Bank and all the rest of them would take that kind of stuff as well. So I think they'll have addresses and specific items they might need. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And if you're watching from outside the country and you're wondering, like, how is it so bad? How like what happened? It's that the areas that flooded, a lot of them, the rivers have not gotten to those areas in any of our lifetimes. So like everybody, maybe they did in 1916, but I think this was double that flood. So a lot of the people that were getting the warnings on the phones before the phones went out to, get out of flood zones, in their head, they're like, we're not in a flood. The river doesn't get here. We're not in a flood.
It doesn't apply to us. It's way down there.
1,000-year floodplain.
It's like 200 yards down. And so people just didn't go because this has never happened. And so I did see some negative chat on something about, oh, you guys should just get out of the way. Well, you don't know to get out of the way if it like came up like a lot of the rivers 30 feet
It was
higher.
more like a tsunami than a flood. It's not like the water just starts rising.
There's also a lot of people who don't have the resources to just up and leave. So that's the other thing. Appalachia is there's a lot of poverty here. So there's a lot of people who do not have the resources to even leave. If you're living in a trailer with a bunch of people and you don't have an operational car or there's a tree down in your neighborhood, you can't really leave unless you're going to walk out of there. So, I think it's very easy to pass judgment on people when you're not here. But we're just not, we've never experienced anything like this in this region,
Well, also, like I've heard some firsthand accounts, like that the night before, like when we all knew that a bunch of rain was going to come, we got everything set up. We made sure our drains were good. And then we went to sleep. Mm-hmm. And so here's what some people were experiencing in Swannanoa. They went to sleep, and then at 2:00 in the morning, the National Guard is pounding on their door. Get out of here right now, and if not, write your name on your body. And they go over to the next house and start pounding on the door. And those people grabbed their kids, got in their cars, and went away. And some people said, "No, I'm not leaving," and they, some of them are not there anymore.
Yeah,
but it wasn't like, okay, you had plenty of warning. It wasn't like anybody knew what was happening. It was like, okay, this is going to suck. We're going to get wet. We're going to lose power.
Yeah.
It was, in hindsight, it all seems so clear. But
and they, like I said, they could have never imagined like houses across US 70 from the river that's still out of sight the other way US 70 were underwater, like to the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. So there was a lot of stuff that had never happened here. People like, for fault us or whatever, we weren't prepared for that because it had never happened. I mean, and it hopefully doesn't ever happen again.
And another thing to consider or is important to mention is that a hurricane hitting here is not
we're
like it hitting in
landlocked.
Florida. It's nothing like it hitting Florida. Maybe Florida's not the best to compare to since they just got hit by Milton, but it's totally different. Here, there's mountains, and the mountains act like funnels, sending all the water to like the same places. And then when the water reaches a certain height, there's nowhere for it to go. It's surrounded, And then another thing is we're in Appalachia in Western North Carolina. The roads here get built along rivers. That's how it works. And all of these rivers are now flooding and taking the roads with them that people were trying to evacuate on, and that we needed to, to use to help to get to people afterwards, making it extremely difficult. So it's like totally different than this same situation happening most other places.
Well, and we have tons of trees, it's like, it's a huge forest. I mean, that's all the reasons why people love to come to Asheville are the reasons why we were hit so hard. It's like, it's all this beautiful natural wilderness. So, when you get a hurricane and that kind of thing, it's really, really bad. And, even like places like Florida or California, their building codes are very different for all you guys who are into building stuff. We do not build houses in the same way they do in Florida or California because we have never had something like this.
People don't even buy flood insurance.
Yeah, so it's easy to pass judgment.
Yeah,
and
this guy's saying by 5:30 a.m. Communication was already gone in some places.
Oh, totally.
Which I had it till like 9 a.m. But there you go. Had some of those people maybe did not have a warning. Like your phone going that emergency signal noise that you hate to hear.
Yeah.
But we did get a lot of those. Luckily, whoever's in charge of that, thank you. I must have gotten 5 or 6 alerts from like 3 a.m. till 7 a.m. Where every device in your house just starts doing that like noise. Get out, get out, get out. So that is a good thing. And a lot of these towns do not have like a proper flood alarm. I know. I think that over in Canton, they may have some sort of alarm like that because they got hit a few years ago by a similar, not quite as bad thing. So they just rebuilt, and dude, they just got wiped again. It's terrible.
Dang.
Yeah.
So.
And somebody else mentioned one of the reasons that it was so much different is that before Helene got here, there was another weather system that was completely unrelated that had basically made a normal
the
flood.
Water table high.
It was like a normal.
It rained 2 days straight without stopping.
Water table was up high. The rivers were starting to overflow, but it wasn't anything. So that was the starting point when the
soil below the trees
inches
was already.
Yeah.
That
was the starting point.
Yeah.
It was a perfect storm. I mean, it was a 1,000-year storm.
Yep.
It was.
And thankfully, all of us got very lucky. I mean, I got no damage to the house, no damage to the shop. I know I got tons of messages about the shop, so I appreciate that. You know, obviously, we've put a ton of work into it with Eric as well. And that would have been a real bummer if that place washed away. And it is totally fine. I mean, no internet, no power, or no water. But other than that,
I'm seeing quite a few comments just asking about our job site. Luckily, it was on the western side of the eye of the storm, which was over towards Silver Bryson City, which was not nearly as bad. And we, a few days later, rolled up to the job site, and I was like expecting the worst.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, is this thing is going to be like in a mudslide or like blown over because it was just like half framed? It looked like nothing had ever happened.
Wow.
There's like birds chirping and a couple puddles, and I'm like
looking
around like, what? And so anyway, the homeowner did a great job of doing some grading before to make sure water was running away.
Yeah.
He cut all the trees that were within falling distance.
Wow.
That was smart. And so, our job site's fine. Appreciate you asking on that. And, we're building the roof right now. We got to get this thing dried in.
Yeah.
It's before it, the elements actually start to damage the framing that's there.
Yeah. How's Berm Park, Seth?
So I haven't been able to get in touch with anybody in Canton. I've been trying, and I can't get in touch with any of my contacts there because we want to repair it. We want to raise. I've already got donors lined up. I have money lined up to donate to get Berm Park fixed, but we've been unable to contact anyone. And so I'm just going to give them some space and let them handle the human element of it. And then I'm going to go and talk to somebody. But you know what? It's not. It can't be their priority right now necessarily. It's a
recreation,
bike park, right?
Yeah.
We'll get to that, but
it's just still very much not their priority.
No,
yeah, and so I'm just gonna give them some space, and maybe I'll bring them a Starlink or something. But somebody asked about building codes and stuff. So interestingly enough, like Mission Hospital doesn't have any water. Most people in Asheville don't have water. And so they're drilling temporary wells everywhere. And none of us know what the result of this is going to be. But if I were to guess, I would say there's going to be a lot more people with their own wells after this. A lot more.
And schools. Because we also have mentioned all of the schools in Asheville are shut down.
Yeah.
Because
2 weeks and ongoing.
If you don't have any water, and I mean, it's indefinitely shut down. So like, I've got 2 little kids and they've been without childcare for 2 weeks now, or, without school for 2 weeks now. So, and who knows how long that's going to continue to happen. I mean, we don't have even an accurate date of when the water system might be online. So
we're talking like Asheville proper, the densest part of the area.
Where most of the people
still
are.
where the most of the people are, still no water.
Yeah.
I've been having friends come down and do laundry and shower using my house.
Is your water
my water's back? It's potable. Yeah.
Oh, it's potable.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm just so lucky.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's crazy.
That's
great. Just trying to help everyone else out that's in town.
Yeah. I'm not
dishes and
an expert, but from what I hear, there was like 3 different treatment plants in Asheville, and the one like South Asheville area like survived, and the other 2 did not.
Yep.
I could not believe how fast I got internet. It was 2-3 days. I got internet within 3 days.
Wow.
And then I got water within like 6.
Man,
I couldn't believe it.
I think where you are, a lot of stuff is underground. Not in your immediate neighborhood, but like I think that there's a lot of stuff underground because you're near like a main road.
Yeah.
That might be. You know, funny story. I got power back insanely fast. I was only out of power for 4 full days, and then it came back on. And we're like looking out of my window across the valley. Nobody's got power. Like nobody.
Oh yeah,
Like,
because Mike.
So one of my neighbors told me. So it's this is secondhand information. We have a lineman that lives on our block, and sometimes they strategically disconnect power because they were working on something else. And he just climbed up on the pole and like kind of like reconnected it. And then they had to disconnect it like a few days later to do like the permanent fix. That's just the story. But there is a lineman on my block, and supposedly he just he went back up there.
Hilarious.
He finagled some stuff. But so we got to protect that man at all costs.
I would.
For real.
That's hilarious.
Man, when I came to take a shower at your place, God, that felt so good.
I know. For those 4 days, I couldn't take a hot shower because I was able to run my well pump, but I wasn't able to run my hot water heater.
Yeah, the cold shower I took at your house.
Well, so I have a solar hot water heater that supplements my hot water heater.
Yeah.
And so we would have enough to bathe the kids.
Yeah.
And we would get the kids warm showers, and then
getting stuff hot takes so much power.
I just didn't take a shower.
Yeah.
Well, actually, an hour before we got power back, like we were all out of hot water, and we're militant about the showers, like they have to bathe, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna play a game. It's gonna be really cold, and then the power came on afterwards. And we're like,
did you still play the game?
Yeah, we played the game, and it was it was brutal.
I will say it was pretty cold.
Yeah, Rebecca was
well
like,
Dude, there's no way my wife would ever even attempt a cold shower. There's no chance that would even start.
I'm not into that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. You get 9 days into it.
I know. I don't think that would even do it.
Oh, I would do it for me.
When I was living out of the car, man, you get like a week and a half into no shower, you do some things. You just, you go bathe in the Arkansas River at 45 degrees and you just deal with it.
Yeah.
I think she would turn.
Oh, I definitely.
I hope she would, but I don't know.
I don't know. Does anybody have any cool stories about just people in the community like lending their businesses and time to help people? There's a guy by me who's got this place. It's called something. It's like Gangster Chicken or something. It's like a wing. It's a wing place. I keep the names on the tip of my tongue. I pass it every day, but he opened up his like chicken wing place and paid his employees to give away free food.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about
and days
that.
and days. And he still, if somebody comes in, they want soup, I got it.
Yeah.
And I just had him make 20 Wagyu burgers for these workers that are cleaning in Swananoa.
Yeah.
That'll be in my next video. But he made them so special. Like he smoked them and then he seared them. He's like, oh, this is going to the workers. Like we're gonna hook them up. But have you guys seen much of that?
I mean, I think there's been tons of it. We were talking about World Central Kitchen. They're operating out of a number of restaurants here in Asheville.
Their main one is in Bears.
Bears Smokehouse.
Took over the whole thing. This org is putting out like 35,000 meals a day. And they're enlisting other kitchens from other restaurants to take over that as they start kind of like scaling back their operation.
Yeah, like Kurite is doing some of that, right?
Yeah, Kurite is helping, and then also the Funkatorium is like their storage facility. So like the whole brewery in there is just a supply depot now. Lots of cool stories like that. Camp Greer in Old Fort, somewhere known by the mountain bike community, is like giving out 2 hot meals a day, showers, and laundry to people like servicing the Old Fort neighborhood.
Nice.
And also now they're kind of the main supply depot for that area. So they're doing really great things too. They somehow were not touched at all. So now they're setting up and helping out. Yeah.
They're right on the other side of the
They're
divide.
right there. Yeah. It's, I mean, everywhere around the entry to theirs is hit. Looks really rough, but you get into Camp Greer and everything's fine. It's crazy. It's like a little oasis.
I think Lowe's donated a ton of money. I think like $12 million or something insane. Because Lowe's is based in North Carolina. So I think this was very localized for them. Yeah, it's amazing all of the stuff that's come out with people just working together. You know, I mean, like
it's amazing how many people just like dropped what
Yeah.
they're doing, like, and just started doing whatever was needed.
yeah.
I mean, my girlfriend and her 2 friends, they just crowdfunded like $2,500. And then those friends bought it all, just went and bought it all in Raleigh, drove over, spent their time and left their work, and then spent 2 days delivering it around town. Just
Yeah.
like
that is amazing.
through no organization, just through the kindness of their
Like
hearts.
$2,500 from a few individuals to
It's
raise
huge.
is huge.
It's
That's like
huge.
hundreds of thousands if you're
It
an
was a
organization.
giant
Yeah.
trailer. Also brought his own trailer. So, and which is
That's
a huge
awesome.
deal too, because that was what allowed us to go deeper into. So like some, like I didn't really realize until we started going around with it, but having the trailer itself is a huge resource.
It's
crazy.
Sean from Bikes and Beards is on his like 4th supply run already.
Yeah,
with
to
a trailer
Atlanta?
from Nashville.
Oh,
So
wow.
He's going from Nashville and he has to go
Yeah.
down into Georgia and back up to get
It's a
here.
lot further to Nashville now
And
because the road's
40.
messed up.
Oh, right. To get to Knoxville is the same.
He
Yeah.
brought so many supplies, and now the needs are changing. So
Yep.
the Calvary in Mills River, there's a funny story about that. They were like, can I pray for you, or you want to pray with me? And I'm like, look, I appreciate it, but I'm not religious. And actually, I grew up in a Jewish household, and I'm like, I'm bracing, and they're like, oh, that's awesome, that's great. We're gonna pray with you. I'm like, okay. So it's just amazing because I haven't had many run-ins with religious organizations, and my perspective on what they do for communities is just like the church as this central place where they know everybody in the community to a granular level. What they're doing, I don't think Western North Carolina would survive without the network of churches. But
I don't think so either.
Anyway,
The rural.
So I went there. I told Sean, hey, they're doing cleanups in Swannanoa from here. Like they're sort of running it. Come down here. He went over there and talked to them. He drove an hour away immediately and came back with like 9 chainsaws or something like that.
Wow. And that was such a commodity right away.
Just hitting it hard.
Using the gas to go.
Yeah.
That's like
he's got gas cans in the back to keep if he has to. And he's just tirelessly, and our friend Jimmy, who he's got a nonprofit called Wings of Compassion. And once he started posting, so me, Sean, and Jimmy have all been posting to them, and he's raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so now we're going to be able to go to people who have like lost their houses and stuff and figure out how to make their lives whole.
Yeah.
Wow,
but
that's awesome.
But the people are asking how to help. If you donate to the most, like, obviously, the organization we have linked here, if you click,
Oh wow!
Yo,
$500
someone
to
just
Beloved
donated
Asheville, $500 to Beloved Asheville.
Thank you.
That's a huge
Awesome.
help because that's going down on the ground. It's not paying for salaries. It's
No.
not paying for advertising. It's going
YouTube's taking no cut. We're taking no cut.
directly into the destruction.
Someone
But-
was asking
yeah.
earlier, said that they donated through the link, and he just basically explained it's going straight to Beloved Asheville. YouTube's taking no cut. So
Yeah, that was my Aunt Liz. She
Yeah.
was just saying she
Yeah.
donated through the link rather than through YouTube. So she's
Okay.
just saying it wasn't accounted for on the YouTube number. So
That is huge.
and she's definitely right in that we've probably raised even more than is on there. But
Yeah,
I mean, it's
Wow.
amazing. You guys are
that's awesome to have
unbelievable.
that.
thank you,
100%.
everyone.
Which is why we wanted to do this because
Yeah.
you know we figure
It all matters.
Yeah.
this is one of the best ways we can help. So
Yeah,
somebody
it
else said that they don't know all of us, so I just figured we could introduce each other again. First of all, everybody's linked in the video description. I think I tagged all of you guys. But Seth from Berm Peak,
Berm Peak, mountain biking.
what do you do?
Mountain biking,
Bicycling,
mainly.
bicycling, right?
Bicycling. I mean, we do anything having to do with bicycles, and but we've done storm videos, and everybody seems to be here for it. So
Yeah. Johnny Brook, obviously, this is my channel, so I assume you might know who I am, but Crafted Workshop. Check it out if you haven't already seen it.
Yeah, check it out. I'm Eric Perkins. I'm a contractor with my brother, Perkins Builder Brothers, and we work locally here and been lucky enough to meet these guys and hang out, and you know, it's a pretty cool community.
Eric and them helped me quite a bit with the tiny house and the shop renovation.
Yeah, it was a good time.
My name is Alex. My channel's Single Track Sampler, and for the last 7 years or so, 8 years, I've lived out of my car and my van on the road, mountain biking, the best destinations in North America, and starting to do the world. Had a couple out of country trips lately. So yeah, what I'm wondering is what our channels are going to look like, how this is going to affect content. And I bet some of these people watching are kind of curious.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't really know.
Yeah.
I don't really know either, but one thing's for sure is a huge part of Asheville's economy is outdoor recreation.
Yeah.
Or if it's not even outdoor recreation, it's just the fact that you're here.
Tourism.
Somebody's going to come here for a wedding because it's beautiful. So all these things that people will come here for, and all the people that are employed because of that, their jobs and livelihoods are now in jeopardy. That's something I'm wondering. We'll always come up with something to make content about. But if you are a river guide, or you have vacation rentals, or you're a mountain bike guide, or you're a bike shop or something like that, you're not sleeping very well.
I've been talking to friends in hospitality industry, and they're literally having to talk about moving.
Well, this is also peak. I mean, that's the other thing we haven't even talked about, but like one of the absolute peak tourism seasons in Asheville, which is already a town mostly funded by tourism, is fall, because we've got the leaves changing and it's just absolutely gorgeous.
It's nice.
And so,
which, side note, don't come here right now.
Yeah,
for the
no,
leaf changing.
it's basically been canceled. So yeah, it's hugely impactful for chefs and artists and musicians, and I mean anybody who has a more, I think, creative job has been massively impacted.
And that's why like all these donations are needed. If you're wondering, does there need to be more donations? Yes. Like there was totally whole areas of Western North Carolina just totally wrecked. Another thing you can do is to support local businesses. A lot of these businesses, you can buy a gift card online. You can look up downtown Asheville business you love, buy a gift card and give it to someone for Christmas. You're done Christmas shopping.
You're basically just like fronting, like floating them a little money until they can get through this.
And not just Asheville. I have friends in Bryson City, my hometown, that say, "Hey, we are actually in great shape here, but it's like a ghost town. We have no business, and we're going to go out of business not because we got flooded, but because everyone is scared to come, and that they're having trouble making their payroll." So if you want to go to somewhere like that, make sure you check into it first. But I've been firsthand to like west of Asheville. A lot of those towns are ready for business, and they need your business. And it is secondary to like the needs of food, water, getting someone housing. Help with that first if you're going to do that too. But helping local businesses, small businesses especially, like I said, if you can buy a gift card, some of these businesses are open with no water. So if you live in Asheville, consider
Appalachian Vintner. I was there yesterday.
Oh my gosh, they
survived.
Open?
So my favorite beer and wine store here in Asheville, Appalachian Vintner. They're in Biltmore Village, which got hammered.
I saw that road I showed you, and they were at the end of it. I can't believe
they were like 15 feet out of the flood.
Wow!
And so they've got no power, no water, no internet. Jeff was writing down my credit card number on a piece of paper so he could run it later. And I was buying like $600 worth of stuff. So like, that's a big trust on his part. I mean, obviously I'm a regular customer, but still, stuff like that. I mean, there's numerous GoFundMes set up. Like one of my favorite breweries here is Illacoa, completely gutted like every one of their fermentation tanks and barrels, washed away. So, that's a, like 3 dudes who live in their dream opening a brewery and had that completely gutted. So, they've got to GoFundMe. We got friends at Atomic Furniture. I mean, there's tons and tons of those around. Oh yeah. Gone. Wow. Toasted.
3,500.
Oh wow. 3,500. Heck,
that's 3,500 raised.
You guys are amazing.
Where's the air horn? Which one?
Yeah. Is that the only sound effect you have?
Oh my God. We can't hear these sound effects.
Yeah, this is annoying.
Sorry if you guys
we got applause, which is pretty good.
Which one's applause?
Applause right here. Listen right here. We got trombone. That one. We got rim shot. You got the record scratch. That one.
Very cool.
Anyway,
everybody's
hats off to you guys.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So I'm interested. I want to tap into the comments and see if anybody has any answers for this. So one of the big problems here is that all the schools are closed.
Yes. Yeah.
And so now, okay, the hospital is in rough shape, and now you're a doctor that has 2 kids that normally go to school. Now you don't have childcare, and you are more needed at the hospital than ever before. And this is widespread and multiplied. Like, okay, we could get like busloads and busloads of like grannies or something to come here and watch kids, but like I don't know how legally that works. You get a gymnasium and people just the doctor drops their 2 kids off there with people they don't know. Like it's so complicated.
It is.
It's not like I know, like when we look for a daycare center or a babysitter, we're searching for months before we find the person that we trust our kids with. How do you set up childcare quickly so that things can get running again?
That is so funny because I would have never thought about that as someone without kids.
Yeah.
But yesterday when I was out with World Central Kitchen, one of the places we went was a school. It's a private school. They have brought in a private company too, because the whole school is just demolished. But they're like, this is a priority. We got to get this back open as soon as possible.
Yes.
It's a whole third-party company, tons of workers. This is who we were giving meals to. And they're just out there every day. That's all they're doing, that school.
Yeah. Well, because, people think of school and maybe they like think, oh, well, parents, you can just watch your kids. But you got to think of the ripple effect of the entire economy, because if parents are at home watching their kids, that means they're not working, which means whatever those jobs, or volunteering or whatever those jobs they would have been doing, they're not doing. And so it has this huge ripple effect impact on the entire economy and well-being of the community. So plus, not to mention for the kids themselves, getting an education, that's fairly important. Yeah. So, I think that is one of the big priorities, and water is the real hinge point for that, because, without potable water, I mean, like my son's school called and they go through, what did they say? 800 gallons of water a day. So that's one day, so like thousands and thousands and thousands of gallons of water. Cause people are like, oh, you could just, get a water truck or whatever. And it's like, it's not scalable, and how do you hook all of that up? And they need fire suppression systems and all that stuff. I mean, it's when you start going down the rabbit hole, it's not as simple as like send your kids with bottled water, So that's definitely one of the big priorities.
There's no timeline on that yet, right? Like for Asheville proper,
not
still
specific. They reconnected. So one really cool thing, if you're already on YouTube, the Asheville kind of city planner office has been putting out these videos about their work on getting the water system back online, because the crazy thing is they had already done this redundant main pipeline years ago that should have been hurricane proof, but because of the insane amount of water we got, basically the river diverted and washed away like 30 feet of earth deep and washed away this 36-inch main water line that serves 80% of Asheville. Man. And so they've been working tirelessly to get that connected. Man. They were saying that's like normally a 9 to 12 month construction project to do what they did in 2 weeks. So they got that connected on Thursday.
Wow. Yeah.
But then the other icing on the cake is our reservoir, where all that water comes out of, is all stirred up because of all this water. So it's got tons of mud and silt, and it's high turbidity, as they say. And so if they were to try to pull that through their filters, it would immediately destroy them. So there's no way, even if all the water lines were hooked up, to actually pull that water out of the reservoir. So
even my water is like trickling because the water table got so high, it churned up all this water. And so now all the media in my filter is just
clogged.
Yeah. And I'm not going to open up that can of worms. So deal with bad water pressure.
But just to confirm, you tested and it was good.
It was good. Yeah. So
I've been drinking
the next day, Amy said, I'm going over to Lizzie and Adams to get a water testing kit.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah? I told Alex to fill up a whole jug out of our hose.
Yeah, he's like, just go use the hose. It's fine.
It tested great 3 years ago. So
look, I've lived out of a van for years. I've drank out of way worse. I assure you.
Wow. Yeah, but yeah, it was good. We found out after.
Sweet.
Yeah. I'm just, as a construction guy, I'm just like so blown away that you could bury something that's 36-inch. Big metal pipe.
I mean, think about that.
Bolted together. It's probably that thick cast iron, 30 feet underground, and it got ripped out.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah. Completely washed away. And then the line, like where they thought they were going to have to connect to, they put a camera in there, and there's giant boulders inside of it because
Oh
that
my.
had been washed in there by this river. So then they had to remove more of the pipe to even get it reconnected. So
Wow.
yeah, look up like Asheville water repair. It's really, really cool. They have a ton of drone shots and stuff. I mean, they had to build these boxes around the people working in these trenches because anytime you get that deep, you know, the earth collapsing on you is a real risk.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so they had to
It'll kill you.
like build these like, it's like basically big sheets of plywood with 2x4s in between them just to keep all of that earth back.
You can see the pipes.
Yeah,
here.
that's
Yeah.
Wananoa.
No,
right?
this is actually out in Edneyville, but you can see, I'm going to attempt to show you guys this. This is pretty low tech way to do it. But
You don't say.
I probably could pull that up on my
Yeah.
screen if you send it to me.
You can see like the way things have gotten torn
Oh,
up.
it's focus.
You might even be able to see that there's pipes and
Get
stuff
our faces out of there.
completely ripped up.
It's not
It's
focusing.
in our faces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
forget it. Just trust me, it's bad. It's,
Yes.
It doesn't matter if you bury, and a lot of people had, and I thought they could hear me over there with the microphones over there. But you think, okay, the power's buried, the water's buried, everything's underground. What can happen to it? The ground disappears.
Yes. The ground is gone.
Chasms. Just
Yeah, and my gut or question is like some of the roads that I've seen video of, like I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe they can't be rebuilt.
Yeah.
The place where they were isn't there. It's
Yeah.
just a canyon now.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate. I don't know what the answer is to that, to some of these remote places where the road literally, and any place you could build a road upon is gone.
in Alex's
Like-
neighborhood,
Yeah.
there's a whole piece of road missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those people.
Yeah,
like,
you were talking about the pipes
Yeah,
underground. There was a
unbelievable.
metal culvert, like a giant metal culvert a few feet under, and that thing just gave way. It was a tiny little trickle of a stream, and it filled all the way up, flooded like people across the street from me, and then it took out the road into their cul-de-sac, so they're just stranded there. There's people out there just now starting. It's going to take, I don't know how long.
I mean, it doesn't matter what type of off-road vehicle you have. You
Yeah,
can't
no.
cross a canyon.
No.
It's
No,
basically
yeah,
like
it's
a
just,
canyon.
yeah,
It's
it's a
just-
canyon.
Yeah.
There's no connect. You can't even jump over.
So
There's
they're
like-
isolated there. They can only walk because they can go into
There
the
was a foot-
woods.
no,
or
there's a
little
footbridge,
there's a
luckily.
footbridge.
But yeah, their cars are just stuck over there. So, they need help going to get food, water.
Yep. There was some neighborhoods like that near us where they had a bridge across the creek to the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
And they were all home, unfortunately, when this happened. And so, yeah, same thing. All their vehicles are
Crazy.
on the wrong side of a canyon. And they're just having to like borrow, like have a neighborhood vehicle that they just leave at the end and everybody shares it. There's a lot of stories like that.
That's amazing that they did that. That's just
yeah.
like, just the
It
fact
was
that they would do that is pretty cool.
Yeah. Way to go, neighbors.
Yeah.
I have a specific thing I told my buddy AJ I would throw out here. He's trying to help a specific family, the Crawford family. It's a husband and wife, both veterans, 49 years between the two of them in service. They had a mudslide hit their house. They do not have flood insurance.
Man.
It's not covered.
Oh my God.
He's got excavation equipment. He's going to go in and try to dig it out. He's trying to raise money so he can pay his guys and
Send
fuel
me the link. I'll throw it in the chat.
Yeah.
throw and basically fuel his machinery and get him dug out and just get the house to a state where it can be repaired. So
I'll definitely take their info and get the word out.
Yeah. And I know this guy personally. It's a GoFundMe thing. So
I mean, are we matching? We could put our match towards that.
Oh, I was going to match this.
Yeah, I understand, but
Match this. Well, we'll figure it out after. We'll give a bunch of money.
yeah,
basically.
there's gonna be Johnny's gonna give so much money you wouldn't believe
I
it.
mean, it's
Gonna be awesome.
Because like
We
we're
Yeah.
very fortunate that
Yes,
that's what I
we
feel
are.
like in this time. One of the things, like, we can all still work, we can all still make money with very minimal impact to our businesses.
Yes.
And so one of the things we can give back is not only leveraging you guys, which it's been amazing to see all of the support you guys have given already, but then also leveraging some of the money that we make on this platform to give back, because there's tons of people
we
and
are
way more
glad
need.
to do it.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. The other day I tried to get coffee and they were out of oat milk and I had to have almond milk. That's how bad I have it.
Hashtag first world problems right there.
Yeah. So we'll be all right.
I
Yeah.
didn't mean match that. I meant match this, but put it towards that.
Oh, yeah. Sure, yeah.
We
Whatever.
split
We'll talk-
the
yeah,
love,
yeah,
you know?
we'll figure it out. Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, man, we're almost at $4,000.
That's
oh
awesome.
my gosh, come on. That
That's
deserves
awesome.
applause.
Oh, that's your dad keeping
man.
tabs. He's a math
Thank you,
guy,
Dad.
isn't he?
I like it. Yes, Dad is very good at math. So that's John Brook. That's my dad, John Brook the third. I'm the fourth. I got the fifth. He's with them actually right now. So yeah, we got all the John Brooks.
Shout
covered.
out for coming and helping me clear that tree the other day,
Yes.
buddy.
For sure.
Huge.
Well, yeah. I mean, what else? If you guys got any questions, we could answer them. But we've been on for an hour and 20 minutes, so time flies. I mean, I could whip up a quick cocktail if anybody celebratory cocktail, maybe for when we get to $4,000.
Oh man.
I know it's
Yes.
it's 3:20 in the afternoon. I know Eric's
I gotta go
answer.
work.
That's a
I gotta
little-
go get some stuff done, bro.
Well, me and Eric can just be degenerates here.
Well, Eric doesn't want a cocktail. He just wants a 3-finger whiskey, 4-finger.
We can
We
do
need
that
to
too.
make cocktails for linemen
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
when they're done for the day.
Dude, oh my
That's-
gosh.
yeah.
The,
Yeah,
amount
seriously.
of, the amount of linemen I've seen out there is insane.
Linemen, doctors, nurses, pharmacists, like they're just bloodshot eyes, like just working around the clock.
Yeah, and they've had to be. There's areas that like literally I did not see a power line on a power pole for miles. Like there wasn't a place where there was a power line left.
Yeah, it's just
insane.
gone. And so many times the power line just on the ground and it's just cool to drive over it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's just fine. And now we all know, but like a lot of people have seen that for the first time.
Yeah.
They're like, is it cool? And there's like a little flag on it, and it's like, yeah, that guy just drove over
Yeah,
it. It's
there was one
fine.
across I-40, and I hit it going 70, and I would have like hit the brakes if I'd have maybe seen it.
Yeah.
But I was fine, unharmed.
There's also some that are hanging so low, and if you
That's
like,
what I've been
like
running
your
into.
van can't get under it,
I almost hit one coming in
you
your
gotta
place.
like go into the other lane to
It's
get
hard
under
to
the high
see.
part. Yeah,
Yeah, when I did that, I was like, okay, that's why there's curfew.
Yeah, if you were driving at
Because
night,
Yeah.
it is
you would never see it.
dangerous to be driving around at night, like
Yeah.
the week after, or even now.
and then
But-
people gotta get called to rescue.
right.
That was
And
part of the
then
reason we
you're-
flew
yeah.
home later than we did because there's only one airline operating from where we were in Florida to here, and they were all landing at like 9:00 at night. I'm like, I don't want to land
sketchy.
in the dark,
No.
because the roads are questionable, all the power lines are questionable. I mean, all these trees down. So yeah, it's crazy.
Hey, Anna's got an interesting question.
Yeah.
Eric's opinion and thoughts as a builder. I don't know exactly what your opinion on. I mean, you can't stop a house from washing away, but what's your opinion?
So,
here?
as a broad opinion, I think that the building departments and counties may relook at what is a flood prone area here as far as rebuilding. I think that that's probably a smart idea. Obviously, nobody wants to lose their land or the ability to rebuild on their land if they want to. So there may be some maps that are changed. The building departments here do have maps, and it shows exactly where high wind zones are, where flood zones are, where flood plains are. And it even usually has like, oh, this is a 5-year floodplain. This is a 10-year, 50-year, 100-year. So some of that may change. I'm not sure. And then as far as individual houses, that got flooded, a lot of them probably should not be lived in until they're like assessed by someone who knows what they're doing, either a builder or engineer. It may look fine, but the thing may be off the foundation in places. And there's a lot of trees, on roofs, and there's been a lot of information going out on the radio to people. But of course, if you can get the tree off your roof, make sure you get pictures, or make sure your insurance company, you have proof of the damage, and then try to tarp it and not get any further damage. It's going to be a lot, and there's not an overabundance of builders here because it's a fairly rural area.
Yep.
So it's going to be tough. Just like us, like we're back at work, and it's like, okay, should I be like trying to rebuild something? Right now, a lot of stuff just needs bulldozed and start over. But as far as personally with us, we can't just abandon our client mid-build.
You also got to keep paying your guys.
And I have to keep
That's
paying the
the other
guys. So I think there's going to have to be help come in. Obviously, there's such a mass scale of building that needs redone.
Yeah,
it's insane.
The restoration is going to be, you're going to stop seeing anything about everything here in Western North Carolina within like a month. It's going to
sooner
take
than that with our news cycle.
Yeah. It's not going to be back to normal here for years and years and years. Like we're talking a decade before Asheville looks anything close to what it once did. It's that bad. And that's like Asheville will get the most attention. You talk about these surrounding communities, it's even longer than that. Yeah, it'll fall out of the news cycle, and this place will still need as much support as it can get.
There are entire neighborhoods in places like Chimney Rock and Lake Lure that more or less survived, but you can't get there.
Yeah.
And it's not a matter of clearing the road. It's a matter of a 10-year project to build a road to there where it once was. What are those people going to do? Their entire retirement and livelihood could be wrapped up in a home that they have there. And actually, here's an interesting question. Like if I'm going to build on my property, I can actually find property markers, right? There's a little flag here. There's a little rock jammed into the ground. As a builder, you know that. What happens when all of that is gone? Do they have latitude and longitude like kind of recorded in deeds somewhere?
Yeah, and you can come out with surveyors and they can repin it to whatever the ground is now. Yes, that and you can even to get a rough approximation of that. You know, a lot of realtors have an app where it's like real time GPS, but to a much finer scale than like road GPS. And you know, it's in like an overlay of the property lines.
I've seen Landglide.
Yeah, so yeah, but that's an interesting thought. Like, you know, your property may be so like ravaged that you don't even know where your property
might be a permanent lake now because there was a bench or something that completely collapsed, and so now that what happens to that property? Like, would FEMA consider like that's not even what they do, right?
Yeah.
Like, would the government reimburse that person for it and say you can't build on here anymore?
Yeah,
or
I'm
they
not
now
sure.
own a lake.
I'm not sure. And
that's deep in the weeds.
Yeah,
that's deep
I don't
in
have
the
the
weeds.
answer to that. I wish I did. But there's a lot of places where, you know, like you said, the house itself was not effectively destroyed, but you can't get there anymore. Is that an insurance claim? Like, I can't get to my house?
Oh, man.
I don't know.
Oh, man.
You know,
Wow.
Yeah, it's bad. I really feel bad for the Lake Lure area because of that, because obviously, you know, obviously the lives that were lost first, but, you know, secondary to that, all of these homes and businesses. And then, like you said, there's just homes that are beautiful and up on the mountains.
Can't get to them.
They're
And the people who work for those businesses, like all their employees and like their families and whatever their future life plans were, it's just cascades.
Yeah. So yeah, the donations that we're taking here, 100% going to the cause through YouTube. It's needed. You know, all these stories we're telling. A lot of people, no matter how much money is donated, they're never gonna really.
It's gonna be
get
billions
back like
of dollars to rebuild.
But I don't want that to discourage anybody. Every bit it does help.
Yes,
it does. Hey, someone was in the comments asking about your team. How everyone made it out.
Yeah,
if everyone's okay.
They are all good. Like I said, luckily over there in those far western counties, we had some flooding, but it wasn't nearly as catastrophic as over here. We all live on top of hills, luckily enough. So no one was in a flood zone. But you know, we tried to go back to work, and I'm like, well, how do I live 30 minutes? Like, how do I call them? Like, oh, I can't call them. So like, all I needed to do was like 5 days or something had gone by. We don't know if the job site is damaged. I haven't even been over there, so I'm imagining it's worse than it actually was. But like, all I need to do is just like jump in my car that already has no gas. I can't get more. Drive there, see if anybody else shows up, so we can start to like make a plan how to proceed in person. So luckily, like half the crew showed up that day. Then we were able to drive around and meet up with everybody. Anyway,
communications was so hard.
That was the biggest one.
You know what was so frustrating? I was getting political text somehow. I was so upset. Like they open or they're able to pay extra or something, but like those are getting through and I can't send a single text out and let my family know I'm okay. But I'm getting like 12 political texts.
I know. I'm like, is this really important
it's
right
insane.
now? You get a text. It's like, hey, did you know that Kamala Harris eats turtles? She eats baby box turtles. And like, you're like, I don't get it.
If that's possible, you're telling me I can't tell my mom I'm alive?
Yeah.
Like, seriously? It's insane.
Yeah.
What was crazy is the radio, once I realized that the radio station was like a 24-hour talk thing like this, taking phone calls.
Yeah.
There was like well, it's really sad. Probably half the phone calls for the first few days were like,
Help.
hey, my mom lives in such and
trying to
such
find people.
road.
Wellness checks.
She lives by a river. I can't get a hold of her. Like,
Yeah.
I'm freaking out. Can somebody go check? We can't get there because there's no road.
Mhm.
So it was really sad to hear
That was where
the
one of
amount
the
panic that was going on.
That was where one of the jugs that we filled up from your place went. It was someone's grandmother.
Wow, just to get her some drinking
Literally,
water.
it was like an Instagram story or something that my girlfriend posted, and someone comments, it's like, yo, my grandmother lives here and she has no water, and got her that 7 gallons.
I got a lot of Instagram messages about wellness checks, and we were able to follow up on them and know that the people are okay.
Yeah.
But like, kind of got the word out to other people. I've even got an address of a church like on some back road in Marshall that can't communicate with anybody. So like people drive out up onto a hill and like hold their cell phone and exchange messages with other churches about what supplies they need. And once my Starlink arrives, I'm gonna drive out there and figure it out.
That's the other thing. Starlinks are hugely helpful.
Now all of a sudden everybody realizes why Starlink is
Yeah.
such a big deal.
Yep.
Everybody
I ordered one.
Maybe I should do that.
should have
It's
one.
already on the way. Yeah. I mean, because why not? I mean, you don't have to pay for it if it's not activated. I mean, it's obviously not like a Starlink ad, but as like a
Today's video is brought to you by
preparedness. Yeah, I
Starlink.
wish.
Is that going to be the first video on your crafted prepper?
prepping.
A Starlink review.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Next one is the lightning.
Yeah.
We gotta
what
give
Glock should you buy for the end times?
we got to give a shout out to another YouTuber. Cletus McFarland showed us all up,
in
and I
his
actually watched this
helicopter.
guy. And he like has a brand new, beautiful helicopter, and just comes flying in and starts picking people out of the valleys and mountains and rescuing people in his own personal helicopter.
Oh my gosh.
Have you seen
awesome.
this,
No.
dude? It
I
was
saw
awesome.
the thumbnail. It
That's
is.
incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh
and
my.
he wasn't like making a show. He just had
Yeah.
like his helmet cam on, just like
crazy.
just
He was actually out there helping people.
he literally just flew in and just started picking people out of the mountains. So
There are a lot of
that was
creators
crazy.
that have portrayed this in a really classy way and with the sensitivity that it deserves, and have just been out there helping people. It's really cool, and they're keeping it in the news cycle.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift.
Yep.
Donation.
5 million. That's awesome.
Wow. That is
was
awesome.
Yeah, I
Milton,
saw that.
though.
Heck
not
yeah.
us.
Oh, Milton. That's good too. What a dude. That guy was a dude. And, I don't have a helicopter, but
No, if only I did.
yeah, I know.
But this is what we can do. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys are doing amazing donating. This is really, really cool.
For
I know
real.
somebody was asking about when 40 to Tennessee is going to be fixed. And it's going to
Who
be
knows?
at
Yeah.
least a year.
I clicked on Google Maps because I was curious. It has a little red dot and it said indefinite, but it said September 25.
Yeah.
Is what it kind of said. But, there's like a whole, someone said 5 miles. I think it's like intermittent for 5 miles. The whole eastbound 4-lane part is just gone. So,
And I-26 was like so close to being done too.
Yeah. I know. Rip.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stretch of highway between my house and Alex and Seth's house is
It's been under
the
construction
most
for like a decade.
annoying, probably part of highway in Asheville. And it's like really getting close.
They've
looking
been
good.
working on it.
They're
since
out there already.
since the invention of work.
Yeah.
They're
since
back out
caveman
there. I
time.
saw
Yeah.
them out there clearing.
Really?
So like they're working still.
Wow.
Or they're working again now, but
It's
who
crazy.
knows what the setback will be.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
you guys want to wrap it up? What do you think?
yeah.
keep going?
Yeah.
I mean-
where are we at?
let's see,
should
what
we
was our
try to
total
hit
number?
5,000?
Hold on. Why don't we like look at the chat and see if anyone's got any questions for us,
Okay.
and just like make sure we're addressing the chat for a minute here.
Yeah, send some more questions if you got them. We're
Big shout out to Dolly Parton, too.
$3,600.
Oh, yeah.
She's
What's up?
donated a whole lot.
3,600
Nice.
right now.
3,600. Let's see if we can hit
Let's
that 4,000.
At least $4,000.
Yes.
And then I'll make a cocktail.
Please. Please hit $4,000. Johnny makes
I'll
amazing
donate
cocktails.
$400 right now. Just
got
like
another
a
20.
cocktail. Well,
Yeah, and just so you guys know, like all of us have been doing everything we can as well. I took the crew up to a place called Bakersville, which I'd never seen. We were just asking,
I'm gonna go
what
big.
can we do to help? And we sawed a tree off a guy's roof. and we're just there to distribute or do whatever we could do. The great thing is that there was so many other volunteers. It was insane. And so like I said, I got to give a huge shout out to just people just coming. Yeah. And just like
For real.
nobody's forcing them. They're just coming with everything they got and just helping. And like I said, it was pretty cool.
It's amazing. You know, Austin, he's basically made his entire coffee shop Cognitive
MTB.
Yeah,
Yep,
Cognitive. He distributes mountain bike clothes. He has my merch and everything, but that's not what he's been doing for the past couple of weeks. He's been using his business as a place for supplies, for extra parking for lineman trucks, and potable water. People can fill up jugs there. I mean, just awesome.
Yeah, super cool. Someone's asking about 12 Bones. The 12 Bones that was in the River Arts District, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure it's gone. The other one, the south location, is good, I think. I've driven by it. It looked okay. I don't know what the inside looks like. It didn't get flooded.
Yeah.
Someone's asking how you can volunteer. What I have found is that you just got to go get out somewhere and start talking to people, because there's a ton of information online. Like when I was trying to figure out how to go get involved, ton of information online, and it can be super confusing and overwhelming. But the second you get out there, you talk to a few people and someone's going to be able to point you in the right direction of where help is needed. Because there's just so much, it's needed everywhere. But yeah, the best thing to do is do a little social media reconnaissance and then show up at one of the locations, and you'll figure it out from there.
Here he is.
Oh, he went outside because there's no water. I was like, he says, I got to go pee, and then he goes outside.
He went to the
Major
old
goals. You know, I'm a very hydrated person. So yeah, the outdoor bathroom is working, thankfully. That tree. Yeah, it's the water thing is getting annoying for sure. I mean, it's thankfully we live in a neighborhood with like a small lake and a creek. So people who are very, engineering minded, well, they've set up like water supply stations, obviously not potable water, but like enough to flush a toilet with. So it's
well, also
nice.
You're in your house. Imagine being in an apartment complex right now where no one has water.
Yes.
It becomes a sanitation problem.
You have a bunch of like jugs of water here or something. Yeah. I've got a filter in my car.
Oh, nice.
But I mean, you got the jugs.
Yeah, I mean, we have bottled water and stuff for like cleaning dishes or whatever. And we're staying, my wife's parents live in Waynesville, so thankfully they have water. So we're just commuting from there to here during the day.
That's been great. I'm even closer to a cocktail.
Yeah,
Johnny
man.
is only
Eric's right around the corner.
2 miles as the crow flies from my house.
It's been nice. Yeah.
So somebody asked about Berm Park. Again, we did address it before. I don't have much of a word on Berm Park because I can't get in touch with anybody at Canton. And quite frankly, they've got priorities that the human element of it right now. And so I'm not trying to bother them about that.
Canton got hit hard.
Canton got hit really hard. And so I'm trying to let them get out of that. And then I already have a plan in place to fund the repair of Berm Park.
$4,000. Thank you guys.
Heck yeah. You guys are amazing.
That's sick.
Hey,
amazing. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you guys.
Yes,
if you're just truly curious, I did drive by the entrance. And the bridge is still there.
Got us there.
The bridge is still there.
But it did
I think part of it got washed out.
Sloughed off the side.
Yeah, it got some damage where it attaches.
I haven't been up there yet, and I haven't pestered them about it.
Yeah, no, I think that's the right thing, is just to hold off.
Yeah.
And I'm one of the people that hopes more than any of you guys probably that at some point it will be repaired, because it's something I enjoy as well. So
well, because that's the other thing is like it's easy to lose sight of in these kind of times is that
big for the
people,
community.
well, and for just mental well-being.
Totally.
You know, like you still need these kind of outlets, because it's like, oh, it's just mountain biking, it's just whatever, whatever you might be interested in. It's necessary to being a happy, well-adjusted human being.
100%.
like
It's
we've been
necessary
talking
when
about,
you're going to volunteer 12 days straight, and then you take a day off.
Exactly.
It's also vital to the economy of a lot of these places.
Yeah.
Canton, okay, there's a little brewery on the river over there. People come to Chestnut Mountain. They go there. The employees get paid. Their families have food. It just trickles down.
Yeah, totally.
None of it's trivial. Everything we had, we need back. So
someone just confirmed in the chats previously that it was someone had estimated it's going to be a decade to rebuild. I think
a lot of this is going to be a new normal.
Yeah, and some of it may never be rebuilt. Some areas may. I'm just guessing.
Landscapes have changed.
Yeah, it was a big enough flood where it just like I mean it's unrecognizable in some places to where it was before.
It's hard to understand.
Yeah,
you know, like I've heard at this point, I've been online and I'm reconnected and seen, but until you physically go, I just went to Swannanoa yesterday, and until you actually see it, you cannot believe how bad it is. It's crazy.
They'll literally have to redraw topographic maps.
Yeah.
I'll take a little one.
A little one?
I'll take a little one.
And I'll tell you what, NK Productions wants you guys to get wasted here midday.
Guys. Well, you know, we said we're gonna do it.
I mean, it's $4,000 donated is worth a celebration.
That is
I'm not gonna lie.
Huge.
Yeah. I hope you're making sets with gin, because that's all he's gonna drink.
I only drink gin and tonic. I don't drink those
so you're gonna
flowery drinks.
That looks like a Red Hook. Manhattan, okay.
Nate Stallings, I need to call our guy that we built the deck for by the creek. Yeah, that was one of our high school teachers. I know he lives by a creek, and I'm sure they got out of there. It'd be interesting to see if the deck got washed away or not, if the water got up there. Hopefully not. I'll go check on him.
What is your prediction on what the builder economy is going to turn into around here? You think there's going to be an influx of contractors in the area from all out of state? And would that be good?
I don't know. I mean, if you're a contractor and you're a good builder, you're probably busy wherever you are. That's the problem. Like if you call a good builder here and say, hey, I need a house built, they're not going to be like, okay, I'll jump right on that, because they're in demand because they're good. Yeah. You know, they're going to be booked out like a year. So I don't know the answer to that.
Follow-up question.
It's going to be even harder now.
What's your availability? I know someone who needs some work.
Yeah, your roof is not going to give.
No. I got a guy for the roof. My neighbor who came and helped me the day after I met him, that man has earned my business. But the siding of the side of the house, there's other stuff that needs some work. If you want to collab, you know.
Yeah, that sounds like more of a weekend thing. Maybe me and you can hang out and do that.
I'm down.
Okay.
As long as we can bill my insurance.
Okay, dude. I've never actually billed insurance. I've never done any insurance work, but
wow. I guess.
I'd also just like your opinion, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
Next time you come over, yeah. Oh, it's tarped. You can't see it now. Oh, I got plenty of shots.
Yeah.
Who knows let's something a little bit more lighthearted. Who knows somebody who lives here and knows somebody who's gone into full prepper mode? Like my neighbor just drove to Alabama and bought 2 old military generators.
No.
And he just got one of them running. He's really good with engines, and he's getting these 2 military generators running, and he's got all this solar stuff coming.
Oh my gosh, he's nice.
And he's
That's your neighbor
like,
right away.
he's like, I got
That's
60 panels. I'm like, have fun putting those up on your roof. I'm good.
Oh my gosh.
My roof's 15 years old. I'm not putting panels up there.
I felt so bad. The guy who helped me with my roof, he has a huge solar array. A tree fell right on it.
Oh.
Yeah. Was getting nothing from it.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Nothing, huh?
Nothing. Like a huge tree. Like it went through his roof.
Yeah.
What is the point of insurance if when the 1,000-year flood comes, they don't help you?
Do you mean no power or no insurance?
No, not no insurance. Sorry, no solar. Like he wasn't able to you hope you're able to power your house like you're able to over that like week and a half. He couldn't do anything with it. The tree just took out the whole system.
Wow.
Yeah,
that stinks.
Yeah.
That
Also,
really
I
stinks.
don't know if solar does solar get covered? I have no idea by insurance. I wonder.
I mean, you can insure anything. Well, apparently not. Apparently, you can't insure a house around here.
Yeah, man.
But-
Right.
I thought Dora was toast. That was the first thing I saw when I went downstairs in the morning.
Yeah, that's bad.
Tree in the front of my house.
Yeah.
Straight across.
Dora the Explorer.
Yeah. But she is a trooper. She made it out unscathed.
That's awesome.
That's good. I saw you cleaning the solar panels.
Yeah, you could look down from the deck on his house.
Thank you, sir.
And see that Alex has never washed the top of his van ever.
Yeah, it was pretty dirty.
It's in the video. You'll be able to see it was pretty bad. But hey, you move out of the van and into a house, and it's not like I've needed them lately,
No.
So let's see, what is our number at right now before we cheers to it? Because I think this is a good way to
thank
wrap
you
it up.
again to everyone that's tuned in.
Thank you very much,
Thank you
guys.
so much to everyone that's donated.
$4,022.
That's amazing.
We can
That's
match
amazing.
that.
We can definitely match
we can
that.
We'll be matching.
We'll double that number. And thank you guys all for participating in this.
So
You
that's
have about 5 more minutes to make it really hurt.
Yeah. You
Anyone
guys
that's been holding
donate
back.
as much as you can right now because
Shut up,
it's
Alex.
gonna come out of our
I didn't talk to
pockets.
my wife about this.
So cheers to you
Hey,
guys.
cheers to you guys.
Hey.
Cheers,
Yeah.
boys.
Just
Awesome.
people coming together.
Yeah, for real.
Seriously. Oh, one other thing I want to mention. There is evidently
Ooh, that's
one
yummy.
other YouTube guy, Lazy Game Reviews, based in Asheville. And he lost like everything, I think.
No.
So we don't know him. I've never met him. I don't even think I've seen his channel, but if you, I think he has a GoFundMe going. So if you're a gamer, I know Alex
Or
and I are.
Just go
Or
binge
if
his
you're a
videos.
good person,
Like,
yeah.
That's,
Yeah,
you know,
go get his AdSense up, because that's the other thing is like easy way to support anybody on YouTube is just watch their videos. So if you know
Interact.
anybody who's
Totally.
lost
Then
stuff.
you have to watch them. By the way, YouTube now is smart enough to know if you just turn them on and walk away somehow.
Yeah. Well, eventually
Wow.
they'll stop.
Oh man, I gotta shut down my warehouse.
Yeah.
My view factory. We figured it out.
Shit, my channel's done.
Wow.
Are we matching collectively or individually? I think
I think it's going to
collectively.
be collectively.
Yes.
I'm afraid I could not
We've
afford
already
that.
all.
Yes. Yes.
And it's far from over.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
it is
Far from
nowhere
over.
close to over. But it is tax
We don't
deductible, so
have it
that's
like
good.
that.
No.
But yeah, the lack of tourism will hurt for a long time. We're in Raleigh and visit Asheville frequently each year. We can't wait to get back out there and support the local businesses.
Awesome.
Thank you. That's awesome. And yeah, it's gonna hurt, but preliminary surveys of some of the forests around the area, it's not as bad as you might think. There are landslides. There
I've
are
heard the same.
lots of trees down, but preliminary because. Man, they've been out there for a long time and they've taken a lot of rain. Maybe not like this, but
Mhm.
I'm sure we're going to see some massive damage in a few isolated spots, and then I bet most of it's still there.
I mean, for instance, Canuga
Yeah.
is opening up.
Yeah, which is amazing.
So like they must have already
Indeed.
been out and looked around
Yeah.
and said that this is possible. They're opening
Yeah.
up. What I don't even know what the date is
Actually,
today.
should-
I bet
They're opening
Kitsuma's
up in
not.
5
Send a message to
days.
Nico.
Make Adventure is asking any other donation paths. Yeah, everything is linked in the video description. So if you can't donate through YouTube for whatever reason, if it's not working, like Beloved Asheville, who the YouTube fundraiser is for, is linked directly, as well as a bunch of others that are very deserving of your donation. So yeah, feel free to go off platform because obviously YouTube is weird sometimes. This Devin is talking about Lazy Game Reviews. Yeah, I think he was a big retro gamer, so he had a major collection
wow.
of
Oh,
old,
no.
really, really hard to get games and consoles
Oh
and
my
stuff,
God.
and lost it all, I think. So, Lazy Game Reviews, go check him out. He is definitely deserving of your support right now.
That's so brutal.
Yeah, I think the weirdest thing is just how like oddly localized some of the damage is. It's like, here west of Asheville proper, we're like pretty okay. Like there's, trees down and stuff. We still don't have water, but like
Canton.
for the most part, yeah. Then you go another 5-10 miles down the road and then it's like complete destruction.
Yeah, it's like where's the rivers that aren't
Yes.
that big of like a river
Yeah.
that have a huge watershed.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the places
Yeah.
that got hit.
Canton, River Arts, French Broad. I mean, pretty much anywhere along the French Broad got messed up, So yeah, it's again very lucky.
I was like driving by the French Broad today, and I found myself looking at it with disdain. I was like pissed.
You know what?
Angry at the water.
I just that was my initial reaction. I just saw it. I was like, "There's
How could you?
Yeah. Yeah.
we used to be friends."
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you look down some of these rivers where there used to be sort of like debris piled up, they're just clear. It just all got washed out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just wide open.
Yeah. And white duck, that was my favorite place to eat in the
man.
world.
Yeah.
And white duck taco.
Fucking
Of course,
Asheville,
I think
so-
they have other locations.
They have a couple, yeah.
I
Down by
refused-
me.
But the one River Arts
That was my jam.
completely.
Yeah.
I saw like drone footage of it just underwater.
Yeah.
It was right next to the river.
yeah, I
I was
mean-
just there. But like not even too long
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
When I shot the Brompton video, we went there for lunch.
It's such a
Yeah.
cool place.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Carrier Park, it's like that velodrome, all the stuff over there, homegrown.
Yeah, Second Gear was a shop
Yep,
I used to go
they
to a lot
got
down there.
messed
after it's
up.
gone.
Summit, 12 Bones, Rosebees, that whole complex. I mean, the art place there,
Climbing gym.
Yep. So it's
a lot.
a lot of my favorite things. Is the unfortunate thing. So it's
a lot of
Well,
people's
yeah,
favorite
I've
that's-
heard
things.
a
yeah.
lot
The
of
arts
people are
district
not
is
planning
like-
on setting back up there. Artists and things like
Yeah.
that. They're like, okay, what do we do? Go to Hendersonville or something? Like we can't do this again because like the way that math works, right? Is you think, okay, we're good for another 1,000 years. That's not how math works. It can
Well,
happen.
also
It
not
can
how-
happen this.
how
the way
global warming
probability
works.
works.
Yeah, that's not how probability
because
works.
this
It's-
wasn't like an accident. This is happening. We're getting more extreme weather events for
Right,
a
yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
It's because our temperature is
But
different than it should be.
it's landed on black the last 10 times. It's got to be red. No,
No,
that's not how
no.
probability works.
You
It's
could
still
toss
the same
heads
this
40
turn.
times in a row. It's the same chance that the 41st time that you're gonna flip heads. So they don't want to go through it
It's
again
not worth.
and
no,
set up.
I
You
wouldn't- I
know
don't
when you're
blame
next
them.
to that river that it could happen.
I don't blame them.
I don't blame
What
them
do
either.
you put there?
I don't know.
Of green space,
yeah,
I guess.
recreation.
Yeah.
marshland. I mean,
Yeah.
nature.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because there's not much else.
The maps are being redrawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, when that's for certain. When Asheville is rebuilt, it's going to look completely different.
It should. Hopefully,
It's going to have to.
Yeah.
Somebody said that the arts district was the arts district because it was a known floodplain. And yeah, it's true. It's been flooded before,
man.
but not like this.
Not in our lifetime.
No.
Everybody
like
that,
where buildings are underwater and it's up to the ceiling. It was never like that. And so people kept things high up. People would move artwork high up. They would move inventory high up. And
Yeah.
they thought, okay, it's been up a foot. It's been up 2
Oh,
feet.
yeah.
That's normal.
Yeah.
They were used to that.
yeah, there was these video footage, like a news channel showing the Biltmore sandbagging the doors and windows, like you should do. Like
Yeah.
lay high off the
it's
ground.
pointless.
Yeah.
You could see the water
Yeah.
line was like 14 feet
Yeah.
up the building, and that was what we expected.
Yeah.
And then the 14 feet is what they got. It was crazy.
Well, and then like I think a lot of people are like, oh, you should just take the inventory, out of there. But then places like Zillico, like breweries, like you can't exactly move like thousands of gallons of beer. Like Plebe Winery, like completely destroyed over there in
Yeah.
River Arts. You can't move that stuff
Yeah.
very easily.
Right.
Well, and the cost that it's such a gamble. You would spend a business
Yeah.
would spend $20,000 potentially
Yeah.
to make all that happen, and then if there was no flood, you just spent 20 grand.
Yeah.
It's just a gamble that a lot of businesses couldn't afford to take.
Yep.
As far as the cash flow goes,
Someone's asking about like the
Politicization.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna try
Come
and
on,
conspiracies,
guys.
right?
Well, we
that's-
are in the
that's
election season.
infuriating.
Yeah.
It's infuriating.
The conspiracies you hear a lot of. I haven't been online much.
Yeah.
I haven't heard much of the I can't even say it.
Politicization.
The politics surrounding it. I haven't, but yeah, you see a lot of the misinformation, and that is super frustrating and
It is.
dangerous. It's like really, really dangerous.
Yeah. Because it's hard to tell what's what.
Yeah.
When you're sort of in already like a panic state of
Yeah.
mind
It
from
is.
being in a disaster,
Yeah,
and you hear some crazy thing, and you're like, oh my gosh, and then you're like, wait a minute, could that? Well,
I recommend deleting Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah, there you
For
go.
sure.
Starters. That's a huge help.
And Twitter,
Yeah.
or what was Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably Instagram too. Just keep YouTube. That's
Yeah.
that's the key.
Hold up,
I would
here,
get
buddy.
rid of all social media except for YouTube, probably.
I'd probably
I'd probably unsubscribe from everybody, but like maybe 4 channels.
Philip Crawford says he lost his home. Man, that's
Yeah.
Hey man, I'm so sorry to hear
Yeah.
that.
Insurance won't pay.
Hopefully-
FEMA's joke, yeah.
hopefully things will get
I
better
wonder
for
if
you. I
this
mean,
is
I think
this guy.
the more we can let the whole world know about what's going on here, the better the chance that you
I
can
think
get
that this
help.
is the guy that AJ's
Oh,
trying to help.
Yeah, the Crawfords.
The Crawfords. So this
We were
this
talking
might
about
be
you
the,
earlier.
Here,
the-
send me the link.
Yeah, I sent it. To
Yeah.
Send it to me. Okay, let me post it in the chat. All right.
Yeah. So I don't know if it is. It might just be a coincidence.
That's a
I would assume it would be.
coincidence.
But yeah, I heard your story from AJ. If that's you, yeah, it looked like I said, insurance was not going to pay because
I just put it in the chat. So,
Yep.
Yeah, guys, that's another local person, another local GoFundMe.
Heck
Yep.
yeah.
And
we can help support.
from the intel I was given by my friend, this guy, between him and his wife, 49 years in service, and this was the retirement home. They cannot afford to rebuild. They're trying to save their house, get it dug out, and I think it was maybe moved off the foundation, like a foot or something.
Wow.
But it has to get dug out before they can start to assess the repairs, obviously. And that's what my friend is trying to do. So, anyway, that's him. So yeah, this guy, Philip. Yeah, thanks for coming on. AJ's trying to help. So, if you're looking for something very specific to help give to, that's this guy.
For anyone that has said that they can't do it through YouTube, there's a great option right there.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, for, whatever donations we're recommending, there's hundreds of other GoFundMes that have been set up because, every little bit helps. I mean, $500, $200 for some of these causes is a huge amount, so it all makes a big difference.
It's dizzying because there's so many people in need and you can't help them all.
It's tough.
But you can help him and his family.
Philip Crawford.
It's clear as day. You could help them. So
are there any businesses like we could shout out that because I think the gift card thing is an interesting idea too, because I remember when COVID happened, Appalachian Vintner, again, one of my favorite stores here, I just went and bought a gift card that I didn't spend for 6 to 12 months just to basically float them a little cash, because I knew that people weren't going to be going out shopping right when that was all happening.
Yeah.
So,
and obviously every business is going to start a GoFundMe.
Sure. Yeah.
Summit Coffee.
Yeah.
They are still selling beans. You can buy them online.
Yeah. Buy coffee from them.
They lost half of their operation. So they're building in the River Arch District. All the people that work there are going to be going without work and pay for indefinitely. So the money I don't remember what it was, but they were contributing money through their online store, bought beans to keeping them paid. So
somebody asked if Squatch Bike Shop is okay. They're absolutely okay. They're letting people charge their phones and fill up jugs and stuff during the storm. Pillar of the community. I don't know how much business they're going to be getting though, being that they're a bike shop. I worry about that.
Do they sell online?
I don't believe they sell online, but you might be able to call in a gift certificate or something like that. And they're awesome. I mean, they, paid as employees to come in, right after, but, Brevard's resilient. They'll make it. I think once those trails open up, everything's going to be okay. But
people interesting, from the World Central Kitchen, the scouting crew that yesterday, at the end of the day, everyone gets together and there was teams sent out all over the place. The people that went through Brevard, what they came back and said was Brevard is doing okay. The community all has it under control. The community just came together.
That's
and they're
true.
taking care of each other. They were they don't even need much.
That's true.
Yeah, they're go help someone else. We got us. It was. I was like, that sounds like Brevard.
For the most part, it's doing better than a lot of other. Partially because of the location, partially just because everybody got mobilized. For real.
€5.
You guys are amazing.
Yes.
Yo,
from
thank you.
overseas.
Worldwide.
Nice.
We're almost 2 hours on the dot. And I mean, a lot of you guys aren't even in the United States. You've never been to North Carolina and you're helping human beings here. And so
and if you're watching
amazing.
it on the replay, this donation is going to continue to stay open. So, donate, even if it's tomorrow or a week from now. We're still going to need, Asheville's still going to need the support then. So, I'll leave this up. And, I think people have been saying, continue to communicate, if they need builders or whatever. And I'll definitely keep posting on the YouTube community page and, my email newsletter and stuff like that. So pay attention to that, sign up for that, whatever. And did we have a donation goal? Honestly, I had no idea. I didn't
far surpass what I thought
we hit it.
I think this is awesome.
I would have said $2,000 would have been great. So you guys have been very, very, very giving. And a few people donated before the stream. I had it set up for the American Red Cross originally because Beloved Asheville, I think, just wasn't in the YouTube fundraiser system yet. So I think a few people very early on were asking about that. But
I've seen the Red Cross out there.
Yeah, went to the
working.
American Red Cross, which is obviously like a great like kind
They're
of
doing something different. They're
yeah,
doing medical funds, things
widespread.
like that. Yeah.
and then like they're Milton and Helene and all the different impacted people. But this is very Asheville focused. So
Thank you for everyone that has donated.
Seriously.
Yeah. One final air horn.
Yes.
All right, y'all.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.